original Mulan.
Alright, we are here. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see. Speakers. Alright, so let's get down to business. Small. Alright. I'm gonna put you over there. Go. Mushu's right on my head, so I don't think I'll be not behind me. I think if he's like right there, a little behind me like that, I think it's fine. Oh, actually no, that's kind of distracting. There we go. I think right up there is fine. Alright. Everyone. Okay. Here. Hit this.
Mulan. He worked on The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Brother Bear, just to name a few, before he left all of that behind.
Oh.
He says he saw the writing on the wall all the way back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Listen to what he had to say.
And then, so went to Cal Arts, which is a school in California that teaches animation. It was one of the only ones at the time.
Now, is it going to the speakers?
Yes.
Cool. Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to do a quick session. Quick session. Nothing too long. I think let's draw all the way till at least 6 o'clock, and then we'll go play game. Let's see where this is going to take us. Where's my pen? Pen, where are you? Where are you, bud? Where are you? I had you a second ago. Where's my pen? That's weird. I hate when you lose your pen. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Okay.
Jolliancher says it ran off lol.
It ran off. It ran off! Ah! Alright, let me see what I can do. I'm gonna switch it. Okay, it went to the thing. Okay, that one's okay.
And founded by Walt Disney himself. And so fast forward, got through that, got into an internship at Disney, both me and Tony, on Little Mermaid, right, in about 1988.
Okay.
I'm a little bit older than I look.
Okay. So today we have a bit of a task. I already finished this. This is actually done. I kind of want Crafts to come back so I can know that he's happy with it, but he never came back, so I want him to come back.
And so from that internship was only 9 weeks, but we passed and they sent us off to Florida. And because they were staffing up the new Disney MGM studios, which is now Hollywood Studios, and it was going to be a tour of an animation facility.
So I have to draw Bumblebee eating something. Why? I guess he said he has a giant appetite. I have to draw this? This is kind of weird. I don't know. This is a weird thing. Or this so-called trend she started. Okay, so as this is playing, I gotta find a reference.
Of a brand new one. First studio Disney had formed in, I don't know, 80 years, something like that. And so we were blessed to be a part of that May 1st, 1989, and starting off on that new adventure. And I stayed there. Tony was there for a year and came back to California, to the Disney studio in California. But I stayed there.
How are you?
We worked on some of the same movies, 3,000 Miles Apart, from that point forward. So we did Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Mulan, and Tarzan. A bunch, about 8 feature films and 3 or 4 shorts. All in that span of about 12 years. And then later on, I came back and worked on Brother Bear, and that was my last Disney film. But rose up the ranks as an animator and then a supervising animator.
My commission from yesterday, but I was asked by my mod to take part in her what do you call it? Her bumblebee trend that she started. I have to draw the little guy eating something. I guess I'll have him eating some energon, but like, I guess in a silly way. I don't know. It's weird. I'll figure it out.
And was blessed to get the opportunity to design Mushu the dragon for Mulan. But I also animated young Simba and Pocahontas.
You know what? Maybe I should make this more into an animatic. Maybe I should do that.
Roger Rabbit, a bunch of others. Yeah, so it was a real blessing, but I felt the calling through those years. It was becoming more and more of a situation where I felt a calling, and it got very loud, that calling. I think I was able to dodge it for a long time, unfortunately, but I think it got very loud in the 2000s, and about in 2000, the year 2000, I broke away from Disney, and I felt like I knew exactly where I needed to go, and that was Big Idea Productions. So I worked on VeggieTales for a couple years.
So is he saying in a low-key way that he knew that activists was slowly but surely getting into the space, and then when the space got overrun with activists, he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna stay here. I can see the weird writing on the wall. That looks amazing. If it's Goofy, do you mind? You can take a screenshot, but it's gonna look horrible. It's gonna have a giant glare on it. Let me see.
And pulled away from Disney right at the height because I just supervised Mushu, and I was about to be a lead animator on Lilo and Stitch, and I gave that up to go work with vegetables.
That makes
sense. And so that began a new career on VeggieTales.
Okay, what's a chowder sound I can use? Chowder sounds. Let's figure that out.
For a few years, and they ended up going bankrupt. But I started the Larry Boy 2D animated series there, and did that and directed those 4 or 5 videos. Worked on both feature films and a few other of the, like Esther, some of the other VeggieTales stuff. You probably remember when you were a little boy. Yeah. And then,
Okay, pause this.
You're banned! I'm just looking for the bathroom. You're banned from that too! I am banned from the bathroom? Every bathroom. No! Only eat a small bit of... No, stop eating! Stop! I said stop! Gee, man, control yourself.
Okay, that one. We'll go with that one. That's the sound we'll go wrong with. I guess that makes more sense.
Only eat.
I'm gonna save this one. Only eat. I will use this one. Because it makes no sense if I do a drawing of B just eating. That's just kind of boring. But if I do a drawing, if I do an animatic, that's a little more interactive. So, let me see. I'm gonna make a panel real quick, make a thumbnail. Thumbnails. Alright, so, let's see. I'm gonna grab this.
But the faith journey side of it, it really did happen toward the end of my years at Disney. It was why I left Disney, honestly. And it's a long story, so I'm kind of jumping past it a little, but I honestly saw the direction Disney was going in all the way back in 2000, and I felt very
Miles
uneasy.
Morales says hi, bro.
And so at that point, my faith was mature enough, I think, for me to go, okay, I don't need to stay here, even though this is my dream. I'm gonna, God gave me a new dream. Honestly.
Miles Morales says
I
none
saw
much.
VeggieTales as this bright and shining light, even though it was creatively kind of a step down for me.
So what he's low key probably saying in a low key way is that he saw that there was a shift in Disney's tone.
Miles Morales says, "Are you Christian?"
I don't tell my denominations to people. There's a good reason why I don't do that. But like, I try to be as neutral as possible with everything. There will be some biases, but then again, I can't stop being have some form of biases, but I try to be as neutral as possible.
Miles Morales says, "My bad, haha."
A lot of people ask me, "Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? Are you this? Are you that? Are you Buddhist?" So I was like, "Are you spiritual?" I don't answer that question at all. Because when I was when I was in college, going as a psychologist, they say you have to be as neutral as possible. It's not really you have to be neutral as possible, so when you have clients. If you're going to be a person who takes care of all people, you have to be extremely biased. I mean, extremely not biased, extremely non-biased towards people, because everyone's lives are different.
Miles Morales says, "You were a teacher?"
No, I'm a psychologist. I went for being a psychologist. And thank God I didn't jump into that because I would have been in a hellhole. But yeah. So the point of this is that he's saying that Disney changed. He wants to say it, but he can't say it out loud because he knows if he says it, he's gonna get blacklisted instantly. As long as he talks around it, he won't have no issue. But there is an issue that is happening. He won't say it, but I get it.
Because I'm going from Disney to vegetables with no arms and legs, jumping around. But what the passion behind it was, the hearts of every employee there, I really wanted to be a part of, and it was addicting. And we got to, for the first time, I showed up on their door and we're praying in front at the beginning of the meetings.
Miles Morales says, "Ah,
left
okay."
the studio where I couldn't talk about my faith in the hallways.
Yep,
Hey there.
there
If
you
you
go. You won't be able to talk about your faith, especially if you're Christian. But like, if maybe they'll let you go if you say you're Muslim, but that goes very.
Miles
so
Morales
far.
says, "You are very smart guy."
I try to be. I don't consider myself to be. I just don't like putting myself in situations where I can get fucked.
enjoyed that, be sure to check out the full conversation on the Faith and Culture podcast. We go deeper with Tom about his life, his personal testimony.
Miles Morales says, "LOL."
So, like, she's telling me to take part of her trend, and I think I'm going to make this into an animatic than just a simple, just a drawing. I think this will be a lot more interactive. So, I'm going to do this. So, I'll just do it this way. I'll just use this as a panel. So, I'm going to draw. First of all, I have this. This. Go. That.
A small bit of
Okay, so, and then in panel 2, copy, paste, oh, like this.
Miles Morales says, "Do you animate master?"
No, I need to, but I never have time to. I was going to, but my schedule changed on me just conveniently, and I have the software to do it, and I bought it too, and it was just so super convenient that as soon as I got said
Miles
animation,
Morales says, "So you make videos?"
yeah, I make videos, but not animation. I make animatics. I haven't done that in a while. Hey, Ruru, what's going on?
his incredible body of work in animation, and even talk about his latest project, the upcoming Christian film Light of the World. You can
Miles
listen to all
Morales
of
says
that
him
now
okay.
wherever you get your podcasts.
Borderlands 4 is coming out in just over a month from this video being made, and the game is set to be likely one of the biggest releases of the year alongside Battlefield 4. Borderlands 4 has really everything going for it. A cool art style, interesting RPG mechanics, new vault hunters, and of course, like always,
Miles
Randy
Morales says you
Pitchford
sound like
causing
you
all
drink
kinds of
coffee.
problems yet again. But it's not just Randy, because later on I'll also talk about how Microsoft employees are now rallying a
Miles
boycott
Morales
to force
says in red
Microsoft
newspapers.
to cut ties with Israel over political conflicts too. I'm seriously not kidding about that either. That's a real thing. But the gist of this video is that all of this and more is proving that the game industry cannot separate itself from political activeness no matter really how hard they try. But this is from PC Gamer. Randy Pitchford says Borderlands 4 story is inspired by the sale of Gearbox. Then
Miles
glazes
Morales
over and
says,
says it's
I
about
don't
where
know.
we as individuals want to be on the spectrum of anarchy to fascism. So Randy, who's being interviewed, brought up when asked the question as to how Borderlands 4 came to be, what inspired it, and then some. To which Randy said the question he first...
If you don't know what we're doing a quick session where I'm trying to make these animatics for my mod. Well, not for my mod. She started something, so I'm taking part of it. She wanted me to be part of it. I think she wants to get a boost on the said trend she's trying to start, so I don't mind helping her out since she helps me all the time. So I'm trying to be a part of her trend. It has to it's a transformer type trend. No problem in cool animation. Well, I don't say animation, animatic. They're more like glorified what do you call them? Not panels. Call them storyboards. And the faces like this. Right. And then that's one copy. That's her. And two. And then I'm gonna do it again.
Miles Morales says, Master, don't be modest. You are very cool, smart guy who is very talented and a good friend.
Oh, thank you. I try. Thank you, but I wish I was smart. I don't consider myself smart. I really don't.
Asked the team when developing the story of Borderlands 4 was this. What's the zeitgeist of the environment we're in? Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, so Borderlands 4 took years to make. Not really
Miles
sure
Morales
exactly
says
how
no
long
problem.
it was, but it was clearly made in between the pandemic times,
too,
the Trump-Biden election,
stream.
and the
You always
eventual
support me.
re-election of Trump as well. Yeah, you probably know where this is going. But like Randy said, when they made Borderlands 4's story, they decided to take what was happening around them and then incorporate it into their game. Which never sounds great on paper.
Miles
The last
Morales
thing I
says
think we need
anytime.
right now is Borderlands of all things believing that they need to be political too. The story was also apparently inspired by the selling of Gearbox to Embracer Group and then the eventual rebuying of the studio back to 2K. Yeah, it was a mess to put it lightly. After Embracer lost money and couldn't sustain itself, it led to Gearbox becoming independent, and then they eventually rejoined 2K again, where it's now a subsidiary to this day. When pressed further, Randy Pitchford would say this. There's this cultural and emotional shift in me personally, and at the studio, said Pitchford, what does it mean to trade some autonomy for organization? What does it feel like to move up and down the scale between autonomy and being organized or even being controlled? Oh boy, here we go. But Randy had more to say. On one end of the spectrum, you have anarchy. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have fascism, totalitarianism, zero freedom. It's not just about societies, that's all of us as individuals to imagine where we want to be on that spectrum and how comfortable we are. Apparently, says Pitchford, we were
Miles
going
Morales
through that
says
as a
can't
company.
believe Borderlands
You
is
can
still
clearly see how
making
this
another
sort of
game.
idea can easily teeter on the brink of complete utter nonsense pretty quickly if it's not handled correctly. Look, okay, let's lay the groundwork at least. The concept of totalitarianism or fascism is really nothing new in video games to be tackled as a subject. Final Fantasy VII, all the way back in the 90s, their entire story is technically about this too. Clouded.
The character is saying.
Miles Morales says, oh.
Let's see. We'll see, though. We'll see. That really depends, though. We will see. Keep faith. Keep faith, bro.
and his team fighting against Shinra, a company that ruins the world's health for money gain. I get it. And also Sephiroth. But this is obviously not a real new concept of video games as a storyline, and personally, I don't think pushing against such concepts immediately means that your story will be any worse or better because of it. The fact remains, though, that the difference here is how game studios, especially
Miles
narrative
Morales
designers
says
and
it golden.
writers,
Indeed.
handle the subject matter back in the 90s versus, well, right now. Before, I think we can agree, it was more nuanced, more intricately placed into the worlds these designers were creating. These days, for the past few years especially, the villains of many games or even movies are directly inspired by what these people oppose in the real world within our time now, too. I mean, it's in movies too. Mickey 17, which came out this year, it looked good on paper, but when it actually released, many media websites started describing the film's plot as an anti-Trump
Miles
bashing
Morales
film
says
that
you
used
are on
Trump as
OG if you know the
inspiration
game
for its
Beyond
villains
Good and
played
Evil.
by A-list Hollywood
Yes,
actors.
I do know.
And following this narrative,
I know about the existence of Beyond Good and Evil, but I remember back in I think it was 2011. No, it was 2011 or 2013 that they was going to bring back Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that never happened. I remember they had a whole like not conference on the game, but like a whole like thing for that, and that didn't go so well. Well, it went well. I think Jordan something Levitt, some actor, was part of it, and then they kind of just like it went dark. That I remember it was at the Game Awards, or was it E3 at the time? I think it was E3 or Game Awards, and they said that I think it was Game Awards or E3, and they said this game's coming out. It was all happy. The devs was crying, blah blah blah, because they didn't think it was gonna come out, and then you never heard about it ever again. Never played the game, to be honest, but I know it was something that really resonated with gamers way back when, especially in the early 2000s. But I remember they had a whole CGI trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that was supposed to be like it's on YouTube. You can look it up, and then it just died. Like it just the whole like everything about that just died off.
Narrative spreading, Mickey 17, once the dust settled around it, it lost around $75 million due to underperforming at the box office. The very obvious connection here was that the film was anti-conservative and all of that, and therefore
Miles
many
Morales
people
says the
just
girl
didn't
who you
really
played
want to
as went
support
evil.
it. Then you had games like Dustborn, which was led by a Norwegian designer named Ragnar Tornquist. Hopefully I said that right, but anyways. And if you don't know, he's also very, very left-leaning. Just looking at Dustborn, it becomes obviously very clear what they were trying to convey. But Ragnar Tornquist would be interviewed by a Norwegian newspaper back in 2018
Miles Morales says they are
Dustborn
making a
was
new
created,
G.
and was asked what the inspiration was behind Dustborn before it was announced, obviously. But
Miles
he would say
Morales
this.
says
We
game.
discussed it today, actually, how we feel powerless. We are working on a game which will be a very
Miles
angry
Morales says
political
game.
Unfortunately, I read the news from the moment I wake up and get angrier and angrier as the day goes on. I would go on a demonstration train for human rights, for social justice, because everything I feel is under attack from Trump, from the right, from the Republicans. When pressed further, Ragnar would then say, I hope we can make it the game that will be our voice. We will shout out to the world. Games are usually not that political, but we want to mix entertainment with politics. He continues, the goal is to have it out in 2020 before the next presidential election and make it different.
Okay, so it says here.
Only eat a small.
Okay. I guess this will be Optimus. Maybe B16. I'm not sure yet. Only. What the? Oh.
Only eat a small bit of it.
Miles Morales says what was that?
What's the sound we're gonna use for the animatic? Munch. Okay. Now I need to. Alright. Now we're gonna grab this part. Where's the thing?
Miles Morales says what in the world lol.
Not sure. Okay, now I have to have them. Okay. I have to have him stop him from eating so much, so I have to erase that part out of there.
Spoilers, it did not make a difference. In fact, all Dustborn ended up doing was losing a lot of money, being made fun of by everybody on the internet. And if you go look it up on Steam right now, Dustborn has but one person playing it right now and didn't even manage 100 players concurrently.
Miles
at
Morales
release.
says
Why
dis
I
the
bring
type
up
of
Dustborn
she
and
you see
Mickey
on
17
TikTok.
is to convey to you
Pretty
guys
much.
that it's
That's
becoming
what I
evidently
imagine.
obvious that people are absolutely sick of the way we hate conservatives' narrative that keeps happening. And also, if you enjoy the content, consider liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to keep up to date. Thank you, but I just think that entertainment needs to move on from really all of this. And to this day, I still don't watch TV shows or movies if I even hear or see an article saying that it's bashing these people or these people. Because at this point, it's all just propaganda to me. And then circling this back to Borderlands 4. The point here is that Randy better
this will
hope that
work.
his game isn't a bigger budget version of, say, Dustborn, or his studio and his job will be cooked. Because Borderlands 4 was very expensive to make. According to Pitchford, the game has twice the budget of the third game alone, ranging somewhere near $300 million in total, which is eye-wateringly big. You don't need to be a math wizard to know this means that Borderlands 4 has to be a major success or heads will roll. And I am worried that since the game was very clearly made in
Miles
a state where
Morales says
Gearbox
what
was
if
in
I told you
turmoil
I
from
am Da
not just
Vinci, the famous
economic
artist?
factors due to this whole publisher thing or that having problems, but that the usual motive
wouldn't
of
do much
modern
for me,
Western
'cause I never really
developers is to
looked at his
take the world
works.
around them and then infuse it into
It's
their
amazing
games
that
to
he's an
seem
artist, but
timely
I
in
never looked
terms
at his
of their
works like they do
messaging.
for, like,
Unfortunately for them,
anime
the
art or
timely
what.
message right now is
It really don't
probably
make
the
much of a
worst thing you
difference to
can
me
do.
to no degree.
It's not because of censorship either. It's just that people are frankly tired of it. For example, there was a new game that came out called Echoes of the End. You probably haven't even heard about it. Didn't review particularly well, but as you can see, the game
Miles
is
Morales
basically
says
a
I am
God
not
of
Da
War
Vinci.
clone that also stars a strong biracial female protagonist who uses generic magic and swords to cut down predominantly, as you can see, white men. And if you look at its Steam chart numbers right now, it's not really doing too hot. It barely broke 500 plus players at its peak. And it's currently sitting at around the low 200s right now as I make this video. Again, even if the game isn't full of so-called woke propaganda, the point remains that people will take one look at that game and their pattern recognition
Miles
signs will
Morales
fire
says
in their
yikes.
brains, and people will and clearly
Hold
have
on.
stayed clear of this game. And that's the thing, right? Randy Pitchford could say that Borderlands 4 is about fighting fascism, but unfortunately, that's not really what it meant before in other games. Like I said, older games have fought fascism
Did he edit that? He didn't edit that part out. What the hell? What the fuck?
too, but they uniquely drew from many, many different cultures and experiences to form their villains. I mean,
weird
take
gap.
Kefka in Final Fantasy VI as a good example of this. But these days, the term fascism, when it comes to the game industry anyway, just becomes synonymous with Trump usually, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, that pattern recognition will kick in for many people, and they have and will not support things that just keep attacking and pushing the same tired concepts that they have rejected already. And then you come to the villain in Borderlands 4, which is the Timekeeper. We obviously don't know much right now about this villain, but his name and gist gives you
Can't
some
do
red
that on-
flags
on
already.
here on TikTok.
Firstly, his name suggests that the guy might have
on
power
YouTube.
over time, which has already been
And on Twitch.
exhaustingly used as a core
Even on
mechanic
Instagram, most
in
likely
many
to do it
other
on
modern
TikTok.
stories to just make up for bad writing practices, if you ask me. I mean, Mortal Kombat had
I've already
Chronica,
seen
a
it.
bald white woman who completely ruined the Mortal Kombat mythos and timeline because her powers were just introduced to simply reset Mortal Kombat's timeline for a reboot. And I fear that's what this Timekeeper guy is also going to be. Or they'll use his powers to bring back other franchise characters like Roland or Maya, who obviously kicked the bucket in previous games. Or my big fear, and I hope this doesn't happen, is the only reason why the Timekeeper is here and basically simply exists is just to bring back Handsome Jack, of course, so Gearbox can rely on him again as a villain going forward because he was their best villain in the series by
Miles
a long
Morales
shot, and
says
they've
he
never
isn't
topped
wrong.
him. My other worry is that this Timekeeper, as Randy Pitchford has explained before, is a fascist leader who can see through the eyes of his subjects and hear their conversations. Sure, it might be an allegory for big tech, but it's more likely that Gearbox is trying to use Trump or maybe even ICE as some sort of weird inspiration for their villain instead. Again, I'm not stating that as fact, but regardless, it would be annoying if that ends up being the case. To me, anyways, the Timekeeper more so just sounds like the physical embodiment of, say, the UK government. And
Miles Morales says, what is Gearbox?
Now, that could be an interesting angle, because what the UK government is doing right now with internet safety is a good villain inspiration, because it's neither right nor is it left-leaning. It's about something people care about in censorship, but I doubt it since these games take years to make. And it's just far more likely that the Timekeeper will be some sort of Trump stand-in, and I really, really hope that's not the case. As the writer of the article wrote about Randy saying the game is about fascism, as they said themselves here. I'll be honest, themes of fascism and totalitarianism feel like Borderlands biting off a little more than it can chew to me, but perhaps I'm being unfair.
Miles Morales
and I
says,
agree.
okay.
I think if anything, you don't need your game to be highly political, especially right now. And the worst thing you could be doing is using your game as a Trojan horse to beat your fans over the head with forced political messaging when it hasn't worked either in the past. Because, come on guys, the whole woke thing is dead. There's no point in trying to push that anymore. Society has largely moved on already, and at this point, it's just a losing battle. But frankly, I don't think a lot of game devs in the Western sense seem to care either way. It's like they're bitter that they lost the election. And they have now made it their personal mission to make everyone else's problem by turning every single piece of entertainment that they can into some weird propaganda simulator. Again, like I said in another video about Borderlands, Randy Pitchford needs to stop talking about this game like full stop. Because every time he opens his mouth, it's just another problem that gets formed, and I truly hope that Borderlands 4 is a great game. I hope that it's not some weird woke propaganda masquerading as a Borderlands game, because we've had enough terrible stories in the franchise, and it's really time to get this series back on track. But as it stands right now, I'm not so sure, but they're really not the only ones. This then brings me to Microsoft and how Arcane Leon is protesting and boycotting their owners over working with Israel of all things. As seen here from GameSpot, that is genuinely what it's titled. Arcane Leon wants Microsoft to cut ties with Israel. Like, wow, alright then, so what is happening now? Well, more activism. As seen here, the reason why Arcane Leon wants Microsoft to cut ties is apparently that Microsoft is allowing Israeli troops to use their Azure cloud platform to drop airstrikes on people in Gaza. Although apparently the rebuttal is there is no proof of this actually happening, and this has now led to Arcane Leon's
Miles
union
Morales
to form
says, why is
together
he saying
and write a
Borderlands
letter
might be
to
bad?
Microsoft to sever all ties with the war on Gaza, as you can see here. And Arcane
Randy Pitchford won't shut the fuck up and keep making things political. That's his problem.
Leon then claims what Microsoft has become involved in here. Again, allegedly, according to Microsoft, it hasn't been 100% proven, but Arcane is clearly considering it to be true, obviously, is that they're accomplices in the lives being taken within Gaza by helping Israel. Like I said, guys, nuclear territory subject matter, I know, but Arcane Leon, by the way, are currently developing Marvel's Blade game, which you probably saw. It got
Miles Morales says, oh.
They've also worked on things like Dishonored and more. And as seen here, Arcane Leon is demanding everyone who is pro-Palestine to boycott any and all Microsoft games and services in response to this information. They're literally going to war with their owners who pay their bills. Yeah, it's a mess. And the demands of Arcane Leon are as seen here. They want Microsoft to pull out any funding or support from Israel immediately. But they also want Microsoft to denounce the war on Gaza as well. They also demand that Microsoft uphold the right to free speech, so that these people at Arcane and beyond can speak on these topics in the future without fear of repercussions. Now look, this is a mess. However, it needs to be said that as of now, Microsoft denies this despite the pushback. I'm not going to defend Microsoft, that's why they have lawyers, they can deal with that mess themselves. But what's going on here adds to what I said when it comes to Borderlands 4 and such as well, which is that there is clearly an overabundance of political activism when it still comes to the Western gaming industry today. And these people who are responsible for making video games first are instead making it their jobs to instead be activists first. Which I don't know if that's even something they're allowed to do here, but who knows? The point is that for too long, the Western game industry has become filled to the brim with activism. They've hired hundreds of these people at all of their studios across the board for years now.
Because you have to blame the academia for this. You have to blame the varsity schools for this, because they allow these type of individuals into their ranks because they taught them to think this way. The number one thing that they taught majority of these activists is the idea of silence is violence, or compliance is silence is compliance. So like if it doesn't have nothing to do with you and you're not taking no part of it, you're the problem. Like, bro, no. Fuck you. Like, no. And because they bred this for the last, I don't know, decade now these people are seeing the fruits of their labor in a way that it's destroying not only colleges, but most of the teachers are scared to go to work because they're scared of the very thing that the very we call it, students that they cultivated to be. Because the teachers didn't think the thing that they taught them was going to apply back to them, and it did. Now teachers are now scared to go to school at college. Our college professors are scared to go to school because they're scared of uh, their uh, their students attacking them, threatening them, X, Y, and Z under the sun. I don't feel bad for any of these fucking teachers who started this. Now the same teachers who started these things told them these things back.
Miles Morales says, can you explain it better, please?
Because what's happening is that they told these kids back in probably early 2013, I'll say 2013 or so, that the political landscape is getting to a point where they have to always be activists. Everything's sexist, everything's homophobic, everything's something, everything's some type of phobic next to it. And because of this, college is not even college anymore. It's preschool for young adults who can't grow up. This is why I left being a psychologist, because I knew what was going to happen if I did. Because I would have either been ideologically lost, or
Miles Morales says, oh.
I would have been ideologically lost at college and then started talking like one of these activists, thinking I know everything about the world because I read in the book. Most of these kids are lost and don't know why these bad things are happening to them because they've been brainwashed to believe a specific way and only one way.
Brightroclose says, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Bri.
And now the very people that they have hired are now trying to destroy them within, which is why I don't really feel bad for even a second for people like Microsoft.
Yep.
Because they did this to themselves.
Miles Morales says, yo, Bri.
Who are clearly activists first, and maybe game developers third or even fifth down the line of importance. And when you hire people who care more about politics and such,
Correct.
you get what you
Brightroclose
deserve.
says, hi,
I'm
Miles.
not saying that Arcane Leon is in the wrong here. It's in their right to do this technically, and I'm sure that Microsoft can't even really fire them, because if they do, they'll probably have an even bigger problem on their hands.
Yep.
But the case still stands that Microsoft did this to themselves by
Microsoft's not the only people who did this. It was Microsoft, it was Marvel Studios, it was overall Disney, Sony. All these companies, these Fortune 500 type companies, all of them fell into this landscape of where they got a bunch of activists who wants to prove something because they need to find some type of victimhood situation. Now they know they're not making no money off these people because most of them are lazy and most of them don't want to do anything. They just want to activize and talk on Twitter all damn day. And then after that, they don't want to do anything else. And then when you ask them to do anything else, you're attacking their so-called rights. It's wild. It's crazy. I'm telling you.
Allowing their company to be filled with these kinds of people for years. It's sort of like a guy who owns a store that's full of wood sculptures and then purposely releasing a colony of termites into his store because he doesn't want to be seen as against termites. Now his whole store is getting eaten alive.
Correct.
And if he calls them out, he's going to be called a bigot. You did this to yourselves.
Yep.
As it states here in a GameIndustry.biz article that initially broke this story.
said this. Once you let these activists within the varsity schools, it was over.
Yes.
Once they became more of the norm, it was over. You can't say anything you want. You can't be honest. You gotta be always watching what you say.
Story, as Arcane Leon told them in an interview, Microsoft has failed both its teams and its customers by being actively complicit of the invasion and war crimes happening in Gaza. This is a can of worms within multiple other cans of worms, fellas, because this only goes two ways. Either Microsoft complies and cuts ties with Israel, which
Miles Morales says,
is
he eating something?
Reasons, or Microsoft fires these activists and causes other activist groups to then lose their minds, and then we got a lawsuit on our hands and all the other stuff. And really the point of this video is that whether you're Randy Pitchford trying to talk about politics or capitalism or fascism or totalitarianism, and how it affects
Miles Morales says,
to your Borderlands game somehow, which is usually about fart jokes and poop jokes, or you're these activists demanding that $1 trillion corporation that hired you to submit to your will or you'll lose your minds, the pathway is pretty clear. Which is that what happens when game development studios and publishers focus less on the importance of making
Miles Morales says, what's in his mouth?
That are meant to just be fun to make for funness sake, and instead focusing on appeasing people who will literally throw you into the abyss if you even disagree with them once. These activists are not going to buy your products. They never do. They don't care about your products or your games or anything like that. All they care about is using your money, your platform, and your time and energy to elevate and push whatever it is that they're truly passionate about. Notice when I brought up Dustborn earlier, how Ragnar Tornquist, when
Miles
interviewed about
Morales
his
says
game,
thought it was
he
bread.
never once said how his new game Dustborn was about making a fun gameplay experience, or like what mechanics he was going to innovate on, or how he was going to expand video games as a medium in terms of how the player interacts with the game. No, all he cared about talking about was making his game for one sole reason: political messaging, like always. And the more that becomes normalized, the more insufferable it's going to get in the
I
future.
don't think
Look, again,
Borderlands is gonna
I
do
don't
very
hate
well.
Arcane Leon. They're allowed to voice their opinions all they want. But this is frankly Microsoft's fault before anything else for hiring these people in the first place. You knew they were activists, you knew their political leanings, you knew before that ink was even
Miles
dry
Morales
that
says
these
dang.
people would do exactly what they're doing now the moment you did anything that they didn't agree with. So I'm not sorry for Microsoft for what's happening to them, but it has become clear that the Western industry, despite the thousands of people getting laid off these couple of years, and all these games faltering to make profits, and all these games releasing and dying immediately, and they continue to keep chasing the same things that have never worked or mattered in the first place instead of just making fun games for funness sake. And Borderlands 4, hopefully, is nothing like what Randy explained, but Randy being Randy, he continues to keep messing up the messaging around his company's game. He seriously needs to shut his mouth. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, just Randy, please, just stop talking. I'm just tired of it, man. Just make good games and keep the politics separate. We know it works. Look at all the games that have done great in the last year or two alone that don't push this stuff. Until that doesn't become the status quo going forward, the deconstruction of Western gaming will just keep continuing. But what do you think? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to keep up to date as always. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, I do teach. It's on my YouTube, but no one goes to it. Let me see here. Facebook AI is getting super creepy. Uh-oh.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here
Miles
with
Morales
Geeky
says, all right,
Sparkles.
master, I'll be back later, gonna doom
And we're going
scroll.
to talk about how Facebook is trying to groom your kids, and they're giving them false medical information, and it's really creepy. I thought this was maybe being overblown, and then you started reading to me what answers were acceptable for the AI chatbot to give underage people, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, so I guess they're in trouble because they were the AI was allowed to have sensual within guidelines discussions with kids.
Sensual within guidelines.
Yeah, and they also apparently were allowed to basically say things like somebody could use their AI to argue that, you know, black people were dumber than white people.
Oh my God. So
No,
it's
I'm
not
serious. That was something that would allow.
so it it's trying to groom your kids.
We're going to talk about an artist by the name of Koya for Arts because they got caught tracing AI, and the way they got caught is wild. Okay, we'll just go into this. I'm going to show you their art in a different way because everything now of their pages, everything has been deactivated, gone. Okay, but this is an example of their artwork. You can see they make very chibi, very cutesy style art. They tend to feature this red panda character a lot in their artwork. So here is an example of their art. Another example of their art, the red panda with a frog. Another red panda kind of like frolicking through some mushroom forest. They also do chibi art as well. So if you look at their artwork, you know, their artwork has like a very chibi-esque style. But if you ever have seen AI chibi art, their artwork looks pretty similar. Here are some examples of AI generation for red panda chibis. Now, don't go generate this stuff on your own. This is already what Google pulled up. I'm only showing you this as an example to what people were saying about their artwork. Because people were basically saying that their art resembles the AI chibi style a lot. And this is what the AI chibi style looks like, roughly. Again, we have to take into account the fact that with chibi art, whatever, like any art in general, AI steals from human artists. So there is obviously a chance, a likelihood that a person actually made the
Those up
artwork
to me.
and
No
AI
AI
stole
for
from them,
for
and
these
then there's nothing
companies.
you could do about it.
Not
One way
the
that I could
regular
explain it
average
is there was a
Joe.
Pokemon art
I would
contest.
just gave the AI to the military and it should be only used for military purposes. But I'm not even okay with that either because remember, our military stuff can go left really easily.
Where the artist was accused of using AI, but it's because the AI actually trained off the artist's work. So do you feel like that? So I do want us to take that into account. Now let's take a look at some videos of their art. We have here posted by Throw Away a Table or something like that, and the video is titled "More Evidence That Koya for Art Might Be Using AI." I'm gonna mute it. The basically OP is stating that they have inconsistencies in their art style where some pieces do kind of look like they were drawn by a person. They have errors that were made, whatever. Whereas other pieces that they've made looks really clean, really good. And it's kind of like,
and this is the problem I have with the AI problem because it makes people like this say it looks too clean, it looks too this, it looks too that. And the problem with this is if someone's really meticulous in a specific way, they could be really clean and good at doing line art or it may be, and this can lead to a situation where people can say, "Oh, you probably traced that, or it's AI." Like, oh god. You hear more AI accusations than you hear tracing accusations now.
oh, the inconsistency is kind of odd. So we can see here, and they have a screen recording of their page. So this is what their Instagram page looked like, obviously, before being gone. This is an example of their artwork. They made a piece by Mimikyu, another piece that they've made. So this is a red panda-esque piece. They made some boba artwork. And what OP was also pointing out is the fact that in their old artwork, they tend to use a lot of this like shine. You can see here, this bear also has that sort of like shine highlighting detailing. And then for all the red panda pieces, or almost all of them, they basically have a very different art style. That shine is completely gone.
Mm-hmm. And like I hate this because you can literally make the accusation. It makes sense. Makes sense to me. If it's I don't know.
Jernay says hello.
That causes real issues, and it just. This is why if it was up to me, I would never had no fucking AI.
Brightroclos says at Mono hi Momo.
We wouldn't be in this predicament.
Jernay says teach just might be AI generated.
I might be
on the way they render is very differently. And again, look, people can change their art style just because you used to draw
Jernay
with
says
a
at
heavy
Brightroclos
highlight
hi
and you suddenly
Bri.
don't doesn't mean you used AI. But it's just suspicious.
This is why when people say
Brightroclos says at Mono shish.
They say when you draw the things that you draw, I know you do in your free time. I'm like, bitch, I don't ever have free time. Everything I do when I come to my art is recording. Yeah, I record everything I do.
Jernay says at Brightroclos bye bye.
I don't ever draw whenever I'm just bored, or I don't do that. If I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna record it. Because I don't want to make a good piece that looks really good, and then when I post it, some idiot's gonna say, this is probably AI generated. I'm like, bro, there's a fucking video of me drawing the whole thing from beginning to end. From all angles on different platforms at the same fucking time. Do not do this. This is why I don't have time to draw anything outside my boredom. And when I'm bored and tired, I do not want to draw. I want to sleep, or I want to just play video games. I do not want to I don't do art in my free time. I don't do that anymore. The only time I'm doing art is when I'm streaming or recording everything.
Only the Red Panda pieces that kind of have that, because you can see here, it reappears again. So that's what OP was saying. Here we have another person by the name of Paw Girl Mimi, who posted this video that says, Koya for art doesn't trace AI, in quotes. So one is the hands being wonky. The fingers are most definitely very wonky here.
Just to be clear, guys, I'm on YouTube right now, Twitch and YouTube right now. If you want to go watch it more bigger on your phone, on your screen, it's right there. It's right there. You can. It's right, literally there. You can watch me here. You can still watch what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna be up here. The video will be right behind me, but you'll have a better view there than you would normally. So I'm just letting you guys know that now. There you go. You can watch it.
Again, if we give benefit of doubt, potentially, some people, artists, everybody messes up hands. That's totally normal. If you trace AI, you might not have any knowledge of how hands are supposed to look like, and you heavily rely on tracing AI. So therefore, when AI draws hands all fucked up, you will too, because you were tracing. Here we have another piece where again the hand looks really wonky.
And this is why I do not teach the idea, or I do not encourage the idea of tracing. I know a lot of you say this nonsense to a degree where you say that you feel you draw better now since you started tracing, or your case may be, or you've been tracing, it helped me. Fine.
Jernay says proud to say I don't use AI and still don't understand hands.
Yeah. Like, you gotta practice, bro. You gotta practice. But the point is like, when people say I learned better at drawing when I used to trace, I'm like, well, I wouldn't say that out loud, because anyone out of context would hear that, you just think you're a poser, so therefore I would not even say that. I would keep that to yourself. But, I understand some people say they
Jernay says tracing isn't as good as they say it is.
I don't think it is. I think it's literally you're just wasting a lot of time thinking that you can draw. I think it gaslights you to a degree. I understand people saying that I can understand if you're trying to figure out the shape of something. I get that. But when you're drawing the whole thing and tracing it and then passing off as your work, that's a slippery slope of hell. Don't do it.
And this finger and the thumb are really close together. Again, we could give benefit of doubt. Maybe they're just bad with drawing hands, right? Let's continue looking at their other art.
And that's where I don't like what she does. She says the hands are slightly too close together. No one is spacing hands correctly in their head every time they draw hands. Especially if hands are one of the most difficult things to draw. That shit is stupid. Let me see. Why does it keep... Let me see here. Right? You're using your mind's eye when you're using when you're copying a ref, because when you least with a ref, you're using literal art skill and understanding like formations, you're understanding visual understanding, you're using visual library to a degree, even though it's like half 50-50. you're using
Jerene
more
says
of
at
your
Kyo you
brain.
couldn't be more right.
You're using your brain more when you're doing a copy reference compared to a tracing of a reference. That you're not doing yourself any favors there. And then saying that out loud to most people, they're going to think you're just a big poser. So.
They also do these human chibi styles. And here, one thing they're indicating that could be traced AI is the odd neck, as in the line art. It probably is really thick here, but really thin here. This one, I would say, is pretty... Again, kind of benefit of doubt. You know, people draw with different varying line weights. Here we have the red panda again, more indication that it's traced AI. So a lot of people were feeling like it was traced AI. You could argue it's circumstantial. It's kind of like, this looks a bit suspicious, but maybe benefit of doubt, right? There's more, because, oh boy, a bunch of people then started calling...
reacting to what the hell she's saying. I'm doing this animatic because I'm doing a trend for my mod. No, it doesn't.
Koya out, making example videos on how it could have been traced. So here we have a TikTok user by the name of Crispy Taters. The caption reads, "How do those AI tracing videos look to an artist?" Now, you can kind of see the meme is that, oh, they drew a sketch.
AI tracing it? Wait. Oh, okay. AI tracing it.
So that it looks normal enough, because, oh look, I made a sketch and now I'm drawing based off of the sketch. So of course I didn't trace any AI, because yeah, I made a sketch. Yeah, I just did some line art, of course. Right? And this video
Jerene says, oh, I saw this person on TikTok.
Suspicious. They're kind of blocking in everything. And this is Koya's art process. Now,
Jerene says that's I 100%.
Before Koya deleted their videos, which I should have saved, man. But I was traveling, so I was busy. They draw like this. So they will draw like a cutout of where the shadow should be, and then they would color the cutout in afterwards with the shadow, which some people do draw like that. You rarely find people draw like that, though. Very, very, very rare. Not impossible, though. Here we have another video by TikTok user floppy0. Caption, proof that Koya for Arts uses AI. And here, okay, I think I probably should have showed this video first, but this is an example of Koya's old speed paints. Did we see that? We can back this up. Look at how they draw in the eyes and the mouth. If you were to draw like that, where it's like an outline, you would have to redo it over and over and over again, no? Like, you don't get it perfectly on the first try. You might get lucky, and a couple of elements, like maybe one eye is perfect on the first try, you get lucky with that. Not everything. Like, look at how they draw the mouth. How do they even do the frog sketch? They draw an oval, and then immediately everything else of the frog is just perfect. Now, some people might argue, oh, it's a cheap style,
Jerene
so
says, floopy, floopy. Are their names also I generated?
You do gotta redo it a couple times. You know, you might get lucky first attempt for like a face, but I don't know. Not like everything. I think this is interesting. You see how they draw the handle for the umbrella? It kind of looks like they traced initially to draw the umbrella handle and then realized, wait, it doesn't look right, and they had to redo it. So here's a new speed paint that they made, okay? Look at the speed paint. They draw in a sketch, then they do another sketch to like fake it. For some reason, they raised the sketch up a little bit, but didn't raise the original sketch. And then, wait, I'm so confused as to what's happening here. They made a sketch, and then another sketch, and then they made a third sketch that looks really different from the first two, but closer to how the AI art piece would look like. And then they refined the sketch.
Okay, wait, let's back that up real quick. I understand what she's getting at, but you have to understand. There's a method called what I refer to as keychaining. So what that means is we make a sketch, and then we make a clean sketch, then we can make a cleaner sketch, and then we make an even more cleaner sketch. What that does is it makes it more easier, not only just to do the line art once you finally do the line art, it's whittling down the lines so much to the point that they're all so thin. So when you're finally going to do the line art, you have no question of where the lines are going to go. I learned this from a Japanese artist. I think he worked for Pokemon. It's on YouTube. He wills them down to the point that it becomes so thin, or at least thin enough, whether you're using a crayon or you're using a crayon brush or any type of brush, you don't have to think if a line is correct, because you have whittled it so much to the point that there is no question on how to do it. It's a longer process, yes. It's not a faster process, but it's a guaranteed process where your line art will look more professional. You guys see me do it thousands of times now, but like, it was something I was like against doing because it was a lot of work, but it does have its results, and I would recommend anyone to try it out. if you have time to practice it, it would give you better line art. So
Again, dude,
and
nobody's
more line confidence too, because what you're doing is you're redoing the lines over and over again as a form of sketch line art, and then when you finally do the line art, you have the confidence to like do it.
sketches like this. Like normally when you sketch, you like refine the sketch afterwards,
Correct.
but you can still see the essence of the original sketch.
Correct.
This looks like they drew 4 different sketches slightly on top of each other in slightly different locations. And then suddenly the face becomes super different again. The caption reads, "They know how to draw, they just choose to fake the AI ones as their own." No hate to this person, they're clearly insecure about their art and resort to faking that they draw AI images so that they can feel better about their own art. And then here is another
Bro.
user. This is Party Shrimp talking about this, where the video caption reads, "Yes, this is AI, just not the way you think." Here you can see some more examples of Koya's artwork. Again, bottom left, we have that red panda walking through the mushrooms. But as you can see, some of the pieces look quite suspicious, especially this dog one looks very AI. So Party Shrimp writes, "I'll be using Koya's art in quotes because it's a great example." So here we have the wedding piece with the red panda and a panda. At first glance, this looks exactly like AI. But when you look closer, it looks human. The line art is wobbly and the colors make sense. As you can see here again, yeah, some of the line art isn't quite even, right? They have thin line art here, it gets a little thicker here. The caption reads, "It's still AI. I pulled this image from Google and I'm gonna show you how I think Koya does this. It's easy to trace over the drawing and then add in a sketch layer when people ask for proof. Where I think they fool people though is with the coloring. Some AI tracers actually have a bit of skill they use when getting their coloring stage. That and the clean line art is what makes people confused. They can use this for proof by showing speed paints and layers. And here we have examples of some art layers. What makes the deception harder to spot is because a human is actively checking for indicators that it's AI and removing them. So some indications it's AI is the really yellowy tint. If you guys don't know, a lot of AI generated pieces make the art very yellow. Weird hair, strange body proportions. Whereas with the faked hand-drawn piece, you can change elements to make it look more normal. Like, you know, not picking a lot of yellow colors, for instance, altering hands so that you add 1 extra finger. This hand has 4, but you can draw in 5 fingers. So other things to look for are composition, misconstrued line perspectives, hands, and eyes. And they add, "Thanks for reading, guys. AI is bad." We have the nail in the coffin, guys. If you were skeptical up until this point, let's take a look at this. So from my knowledge, and I could be wrong because they've wiped everything, they had a VGen
You know,
where
the problem I have with this creator is that she sounds too giddy to catch people in their bullshit. Now, I understand catching people in their bullshit could feel a bit like empowering to a degree because you're trying to catch a bad actor, but when you sound too happy about it, it feels like you're losing the point of the reason why you're doing this in the first place. It's like if Spider-Man says, "Yes, finally, a robbery is happening," just to prove that I can prove how much of a hero I am to stop these people. I'm like, you sound too giddy for the idea of bad people existing.
Jernay says right, she sounds too pushy.
Yeah, it kind of gives me a sense of like, are you doing this because you want to make the art?
Jernay says she can be right, I just don't like the tone.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with what she's saying. I don't, so far there's nothing technically wrong with what she's saying, because she's trying to teach, well, at least give you an idea of what to look for. But sometimes these indicators could be misconstrued for like little mistakes as an AI. Because yeah, AI makes mistakes, but anyone can make mistakes in drawing, especially like when she made that statement with the hand. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like she made the point where she said the thumb is too close. I'm like, people draw hands all the time and they fuck up the hands. Some people who don't see it, like maybe if you're like a very veteran artist, you can see that. But when you're like a normal person who's just barely getting by with your drawings, most cases, most people are happy if it even resembles that of a hand. If it resembles that, most people will be fine with that. But to say that the spacing of the thumb is so off, I'm like, bro, that's not an indicator that is that actually like AI to a degree. Now, if it's growing extra fingers, then I can understand, right? At times, people fall victim to instinct. Yeah, but like the problem with this is like it's instinctual. It's instinctual to a degree, but like these could be nuances that could be mistaken as like bad actors to a degree. But then again, it's like the tone of how she sounds so happy of catching someone in the act gives me the bad vibe not a bad vibe like she's doing anything wrong, but it just sounds you sound too happy for this. It just kind of gives me the a bad feeling.
Where they were offering commissions to draw a chibi version of you. And this is a speed paint they uploaded of an art piece. Don't send hate to the person. They likely had absolutely no idea.
Let me see. Let me see.
Whoa!
Hey, Mike.
Whoa, guys. What was that? What was this that we just saw here? And the caption reads, quote, Koya doesn't trace over AI images, end quote. And also this was posted by ShareBB. What is that in the background? Could this be an AI image they were tracing that they forgot to edit out of their speed paint? Oh boy. So if you were skeptical up until this point, they were caught red-handed by tracing AI with the piece in their speed paint. And as a
It's Rogers. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Mike. You're not wrong. They say a lot of the time. Yeah, the Spider-Man 2 game has a tone like that, but yeah, you can't be really convincing of outrage if you use a Mr. Rogers Hugh Hugh Bob Ross tone, right? Okay.
result, on VGen, they were suspended for violating VGen's terms and policies.
Okay. I know a bunch of you have seen that I post my. I don't think I should put my link tree. I know a bunch of you have seen my VGen account. I have not posted anything up there yet. I'm transitioning everything over
Jernay
there.
says a lot of people say, haha, that was a trick, after they humble like that.
Yeah. Just to let you guys know, I have a VGen account. If you want to follow me there, you can. I'm going to be posting most of my commissions over there. So if you see my VGen account and it seems empty, don't worry, I will update it. I just didn't have time to do it because I've been so busy making stuff for TikTok and doing these brand deal stuff that we have planned and stuff like that. So please be patient with me. I will update my VGen account so you guys can see my commissions. If you want to see my commissions outside of the VGen account, it's literally, if you scroll down on my link tree, you'll see something that says digital commissions, traditional commissions, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. It literally says it, and it has a picture next to it on my link tree.
Activated across the board on all of their social media pages. This one is honestly so wild because they tried everything under the sun to make it look like they legitimately drew their pieces. They tried everything. They tried faking the speed paints. They mixed it in with their actual artwork so that maybe you get a little confused, etc. And that's the end of that. Don't send hate to them. It's just absolutely wild that this situation, very up for debate up until this point, led to this conclusion. And the saddest part at the end of the...
It's almost pointless to say don't send hate to the person because I don't want to say the word dog whistle because that's over fucking used, especially in liberal ideology. But like, saying that almost guarantees that people are going to go over there.
The day is the fact that Koya can draw. They clearly have pieces they've made legitimately. If you scrolled all the way back on down their account, you can see those pieces. They can draw. They have the talent to do so. They still, for some reason, resorted to AI, which is just asinine. It's one thing if you absolutely lack the talent to do so. That's still not excusable in my opinion. But the fact that you can do it and you just chose not to is even more asinine.
Yeah, it's more
What are your thoughts
asinine.
with the whole Koya situation?
Stupid.
Honestly,
that's stupid. Like, I can understand if you are a person who are born with no arms. And even that's still not an excuse because a person with no arms can draw with their feet. And there's some people can actually do that. They can draw some crazy pieces with just their fucking feet. So, like, that's still not a big excuse to a degree. You may have some serious back problems to a degree, but then again, you know what I'm saying? But I'm using an XE Pen tablet.
getting caught because you toggled on the AI layer you were tracing is wild. Anyways, if you like this video, I appreciate it. If you like and subscribe, don't forget to check me on Etsy. I sell
work. And this is where a lot of AI artists will gaslight themselves. Why am I even saying artists? They're not fucking artists. A lot of I'll say AI accomplices would do this. They would go so far and beyond to prove that they're just as good as anyone else. Just do all that work just to get caught, and then when you catch them, they either bullshit you with a gaslighting thing, or they'll say, it's not that big of a deal, bro, it's just a drawing, or something like that. Something to that degree, they'll just literally erase all, like, wrongdoing on that behalf. I'm like, bro, you are something else. like
digital art over there. And I also have a copy with free resources for streamers and creators. And I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So hope to catch you guys there or in another video.
I don't like watching her videos too much, not because I have a problem with her. I don't really have a problem with her at all. She's trying her best to make her name's Kat. She's trying her best to at least make our community, like, I want to say the word safe, but at least try to hold people accountable. But like sometimes her tone to me just sounds way too optimistic. That's where that problem comes in. Let me see. Fandoms that become insufferable. I kind of want to hear this one.
If you've been into pop culture or alternative fashion for a while now, then there's a good chance you've probably experienced some level of social isolation and ridicule because of it.
I can kind of tell where she's about, but...
Growing up in the late 2000s and early 2010s as a preteen and teenager really tested my resolve and
Jernay says I will be
towards the
back.
hobbies
I
and
have to do
fashion that I
something.
enjoyed. And although it was definitely character building, I wouldn't necessarily say that it
Jernay
instilled
says
positive
bye-bye.
feelings towards others. However, since lockdown, the landscape around geeky hobbies and alternative fashion has changed dramatically. E-girl makeup, e-kids, cosplay, Hello Kitty, and anime all took off massively when people had a lot of time to themselves and were away from their kind of social circles, which could instill this feeling of repression. All of these things that were previously considered loser core were suddenly part of the mainstream social and marketing trend cycles. So many mainstream and basic TikTokers and content creators were jumping on these trends. They were participating in these trends. Who could forget Benji Kroll's e-girl makeup or the era of the split screen cosplay videos? It really was this jumbo juice of people who have always loved these things, or people who had always had an interest in these things, and a bunch of people who were only really allowing themselves to be introduced to them. But of course, just like with any popular social media trend, it very quickly switched up, with the people participating now suddenly laughing at those who were still taking part. All of those blatantly mean-spirited satire videos of people mocking teenagers and preteens who used neo-pronouns or used a preferred name that was a little bit more quirky, and also did Jasmine Bean style alternative makeup. Or in more recent times, people who originally loved a Pop Mart blind box or Labubu suddenly deciding that it was immediately overconsumption for anyone who was participating. And also, as a side note, I am sick to death of people using the term overconsumption as just this weird clickbait incorrect phrase towards anyone that just happens to have a hobby.
I actually
TikTok
thought
really
she was
does
going
just
to talk about when I read the title. I thought she was going to like mention like the MHA fandom or Demon Slayer, Dragon Ball. I thought that she was going to mention, but I don't think I'm going to walk down this path.
Decide to use so many terms, very often accusatory terms, massively incorrectly. I mean, the literal definition of overconsumption is the fact or action of consuming something to excess, and often in a climate where the demand outweighs the supply, aka like people buying 3 to 4 to 5 full boxes of the same Labubu set just to open on social media, especially when other people who just want one can't get one. That can be called overconsumption. But we also need to acknowledge that buying a couple of solitary blind boxes does not an overconsumer make. Watching teenagers online calling dedicated figure collectors overconsumers tires me out so much. As if having a hobby
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
that you genuinely love and you've dedicated years to is somehow on par with monthly Shein hauls. And this is where we talk about the subject of today's video, which is the nerd out trend, which is something that has gone the exact same way as this idea of overconsumption, with people initially participating in this trend to share their hobbies or fandoms, to it now suddenly turning into this asinine discourse about what counts as
Brightroclose says Garfield lol.
hobby or a genuine interest.
You know what? I'm surprised that kids are even slightly into Garfield. I don't even think majority of kids, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, knows what Garfield even is. It's like if I saw a kid who's like Gen
Brightroclose
X,
says Ramona Flowers.
I guess that's the closest thing she's trying to pull off. But it's like when a Gen Zer is like rocking Thundercats like attire. I'm like, you know what Thundercats is? Thundercats? And it's not like that Cartoon Network version that they have. I'm talking about like, I'm not even talking about the 2000, was it 2013, 2012 or 11 Thundercats. I'm talking about the 80s version They probably ironically wearing the shirt or something like that. I'm like, you know what Thundercats is?
As a certified nerd, over-consumer, or loser, I'm here to give my 2 cents, because I genuinely do believe that this issue runs deeper than just putting down crumble cookie as a hobby or tanning oil that you enjoy as something that you're passionate about. If anything, this trend has proved to me how insufferable everybody is. And yeah, I'm talking about the posers and the nerds. We're living in the weirdest and possibly scariest timeline right
I don't know if we should watch this. I feel like if we watch this, I'm gonna regret every fucking moment of this.
now. Every news cycle feels like a South
I'm morbidly intrigued by this, but I feel like I'm gonna regret doing this. Oh god, I can just imagine what YouTube's gonna recommend me after watching this.
Park skit, and the UK is now restricting a lot of media at the cost of your sensitive data. If you're a creator or
Like,
even
I
just a
wanna
keen
know what she's
internet
talking
user,
about,
staying safe
and
and
it's like,
unrestricted online
I know where this is gonna go, but then again, I'm like,
is more important than ever. And luckily, this is where today's video
Just stop.
sponsor comes in, CyberGhost VPN. CyberGhost routes your online activity through a secure and encrypted tunnel, keeping your IP hidden and your data private. Turning on CyberGhost VPN before you browse encrypts and reroutes all of your traffic through
Brightroclose
the
says, well, I
servers,
do
so
remember
you're
my
on
little
or
cousin wearing a
have
Daria
control of
shirt.
your online activity. What's more, CyberGhost VPN doesn't keep track of your browsing or data, meaning even they don't have
remember
access
my
to
little
your
cousin
online
wearing a
activity.
Daria
Within a
shirt.
matter of seconds, you can change your virtual
wait,
location and
purposely or ironically? So we're morbidly watching this video to see what she's talking about, because I'm kind of curious of what kind of fandom she's talking about, because I thought she was going to talk about MHA fandom and how toxic and insane these people are, and also like Demon Slayer and anything after.
Brightroclose says,
It
IDK.
seems like it's a video about consumerism to a degree that just happens to fall into nerd culture to a slight niche type way. And I'm just kind of seeing, because I'm here for the cringe to a degree, because I too kind of enjoy cringe content because it's kind of funny. So then again, I don't know.
unlock geo-blocked contents from loads of major streaming services, as well as finding better deals
Daria,
on things like
oh
flights
man,
to Japan,
like
or even
I don't
just
know.
shopping your favorite
Or maybe
merchandise.
she just wore.
And the
Maybe
best
they're
part
just
is
wearing the
CyberGhost
shirt.
VPN works
Maybe they're
on
just
all
wearing the
major
shirt.
platforms:
'Cause
Windows,
a lot of
Mac,
kids don't know what
iOS,
Daria
Android,
is, or
and
never
even
seen
smart
it.
TVs and consoles.
Wait, didn't Daria get a reboot or something? I think it got a reboot way back when, but it didn't do well as much as like Beavis and Butthead. Wait,
Brightroclose says, okay, gotcha.
Wait, wasn't Daria a spin-off?
Brightroclose says, fair enough.
Wasn't Daria a spin-off from Beavis and Butthead? Weren't they in the same like universe? Don't think they share the same universe, Beavis and Butthead and Daria? I'm pretty sure.
Can use CyberGhost VPN. One subscription covers up to 7 devices, meaning that you can cover all your tech or share your security with your loved ones. And right now they are offering a special deal of $2.03 a month, plus 4 free months. That's 84% off, along with a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24-hour support. Join over 38 million users like me and grab your discount via the link in the video description. It is dangerous to go alone, so be sure to stay prepared with CyberGhost VPN. And now it's time to nerd out, whatever the hell that means. So this nerd out trend started from YouTube user The Zerky Show, with their video being all about being unapologetically yourself and giving up this idea of being nonchalant. It's a great video with a great message, and one that rings true for a lot of people who do indulge in more niche or nerdy pop culture.
Brightroclose says, yeah, teach.
If you're on YouTube or on the other platforms and you want to watch a more cleaner version of this, you can go over here on YouTube.
And fashion hobbies. And just like a lot of great videos, this hook line of "you need to nerd out" got regurgitated and churned into this 15-second soundbite to go viral all over social media.
You need to nerd out, 'cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am.
Using the trending song Punk Rocker by Iggy Pop and the Teddy Bears as the backing track for this message of self-expression. Once again being fitting because
Brightroclose says, wait, is this video TikTok friendly?
Movie, which was all about
I
being
believe
kind.
so. That's why I'm going with, because if she's talking about consumerism and the way she didn't say anything, she didn't even say a single curse word, so I'm like, this might be pretty pretty friendly. So I'm like, well, it's a video. So
all about showing your humanity through acts of kindness. And the whole message is that kindness is the real punk rock. Being kind is what is cool, what is rebellious. And like I said, very quickly...
What? Is it? If anything, being kind makes you seem weak. I don't know what you... What? Being kind makes you rebellious? Oh, God. Okay. I understand there's some people who watch me that are furries. I have no attacking on no furries, but you guys know, you guys do know that there is a part of y'all's community that is very insufferable. I'm just letting you know now. Now, some of you may be furries, and there's nothing technically wrong with that. I don't think you're cringe. I just think it's cringe when it gets to this point. I'm just saying. But you can furry out as much as you want. It's just to an extent. And that also goes for anime people as well. And you know who I'm talking about. So
this trend of nerding out took hold all over social media, especially TikTok, with tens and thousands of people showing their love for their passions and their interests. Cosplayers shared their footage from anime conventions. Artists shared their work and inspirations.
Okay.
And again, people...
I was taught that Sonic is not considered furry, and I realized why it's not. Okay, so I was educated by my chat once on why Sonic is not considered as a furry. The reason, and I didn't know this, I didn't even pay attention to this, but the reason why Sonic is not considered as a furry is because it's the characteristics of the character, not him being just a hedgehog. You need to have elements that's there. So like the elements is there that yes, Sonic is an anthropomorphic type animal, but he has more human features than an animal feature. So let me explain. Sonic has long arms and literal posable thumbs and hands. He has same thing with his feet. Well, we never really seen his feet, but we've seen pictures of his feet, and it's horrifying because it just looks very strange. But if you get what I'm saying, but he wears shoes, he has posable hands and all that stuff, long arms, but he doesn't have the characteristics of an actual animal. So like if you take someone like from VR chat, like those furries VR chat avatars, you can see that the legs look like dog legs. Like they have the hind legs. There you go. Sonic doesn't run around with hind legs. He has more human-ist legs and human-ist arms, right? He doesn't even have claws or anything like that. So that's the difference between the two. I came to realize the characteristics is it's more furry when it's more animal. Like it has hind legs, it has snouts, all that stuff. Snouts. I don't know what they call it. Unlike Sonic, he has more human features. No, they're not called furries. I used to call Sonic as furries too. But they educate me on the fact that that's not what that is, because it's based on the characteristics of the character. Like for instance, I'll use an example. We don't call anime girls who are cat girls or wolf girls or even dog girls furries, right? We don't call them furries because yeah, they have a tail and probably dog or cat ears, or even act somewhat like an animal depending on who's writing them. But they mainly look human. So we don't call them furries. Like that's where I came to realize the distinction on that. So like even though no, because furries are called furries because they look like animals and well they got fur on them, majority of them. I know some of them refer furries like they refer to aquatic characters as furries, which is weird. I think there's a term for this.
Brightroclose says yeah because they're
Correct.
pretty much just girls with animal ears and tail.
Correct. You're not wrong, Mike. So technically, I guess you can't call Mickey Mouse or Roger Rabbit or even characters like, I guess, Bugs Bunny and Daffy furries because they have more human-like features even though they're more animal. Does that make sense? Like, I guess. I know that sounds confusing. I know it's kind of confusing, but it's like it's more how human you truly are compared to like how animal you are. So if you have more human like characteristics, but you're somewhat rabbit, you're not considered a furry to a degree. Does that make sense? So like Mickey, Sonic, I guess Bugs Bunny. No. It's set. It's set on the criteria only reaches furry uh uh uh, presence when it looks more animal. So like hind legs. Like you've been on uh VR chat before, Mike. So you know when you come across those people who are playing as furries, they have like literal dog legs. Like the legs literally like do this. The legs are like this, like this. Like the legs are like hind legs like this, like that. When the legs for like Bugs and Sonic is like this. And then the arms also have a certain way they're protruding. So like they're not normal arms. Like your arms are more normal with Sonic than it is with a I don't know some type of furry on TikTok. I mean TikTok on your chat. Yeah, so.
People from all walks of life got to nerd out. And hell, even I participated in the trend, genuinely enjoying the opportunity to just make a fun little video about the things that I personally love.
I don't know how you people in Britain be able to do anything. How do you people in the UK do shit? You guys virtually can't say or do anything. What the fuck? How do you guys have fun? I think you have more fun in China than being in Britain. How do you guys have fun in the UK? Please explain to me. We don't? Oh my god. Wait, Keo, you're in the UK? Be honest with me. I want to know this. Ever since like the Child Act and all that shit's been going on, how do you guys have fun? How do you post a video without pissing off the government? Given that I know you guys can go to jail for just saying the wrong thing, so what the fuck?
And enjoy and have done for many years. I mean, shit, I'm incredibly fortunate enough to be a full-time content creator who gets to yap about the niche, weird, whatever interests I have for the enjoyment of other people. That's my whole job. Teenage me literally could never have fathomed that I'd be in the position that I'm in now, that I'd receive amazing fan art, that I'd have queues waiting for hours to just meet me at conventions, and that I'd be able to come here and have an audience of people who want to listen to me yap about shit I enjoy. Not to mention getting that infamous play button, which I'm sure many of us, even if we didn't have an interest in being a YouTuber or being a content creator, still low-key kinda wanted. And having grown up my whole life loving these things, being into alternative fashion and suffering because of it, it's been really amazing to be able to talk to people who follow me who want advice on stuff like bullying, and hopefully being able to reassure them that being yourself is always the right decision. So I can't express enough how thankful and grateful I am to be one of these nerds that gets to do it as their job, that gets to stand here and tell you about shit. And that's why I think this little trend is so much fun. It gives everyone an opportunity to share their interests, find a community, and communicate things that they enjoy without necessarily having the social pressure of needing to name 3 songs or be a mega fan or having to deal with people.
I honestly believe this type of these types of like content only works for women in most cases, especially if you're conventionally attractive. Like a lot of dudes will say, "Oh, furry," but if the girl's fucking hot, they won't give a fuck. They'll watch that shit. I'm dead serious. You'll be surprised how many sims actually exist. They'll pretend to like hate furry shit, but if there's a girl who's like really hot and she's doing furry shit, they'll be like, maybe the furry shit ain't that bad. Like some of them do that.
People who just don't get it. I mean, that's kind of what happened with 2020. People were locked inside and they didn't feel that same.
I really don't, but I'm not going to shame people who like into furry, because I don't like anyone who's shaming me for being to anime. But like, I'm only into anime for art, story, and video games and typical normal weeb shit. But like when it goes beyond like this, I'm like, I ain't fucking with that. Sorry, I'm late. It's alright, Iron. You're perfectly fine.
pressure to have to conform to the rigid constraints of what society deems as normal or acceptable. Because in society's eyes, being abnormal is inherently a bad thing. It's never usually shown as being a positive, at least until more recently. But then I noticed one comment on my video which honestly really represents the issues with modern fandoms and how we treat fandom culture on the internet. That's not nerd out, that's geeking out. Please stop ruining the word nerd. Excuse me, I beg your finest pardon.
Who cares? Like, we all take geek and nerds and we try to just make it, it's like, they're kind of the same. If there's a weird distinction, I don't know how.
So yeah, this is one part of the discourse. This divide between being a geek and being a nerd.
Did you just call me a nerd? Geek?
I've seen multiple online comments trying to make this distinction between nerd and geek, saying that nerd is exclusively more based on academic intelligence, whilst geek is more based on pop culture and weird hobbies. Which is...
But, like, isn't most people into tech technically nerds, so they kind of synonymous? Yeah, but, like, if you think of it this way, isn't most people into tech, or, like, people who are very academically sound into those things anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter? They're kind of synonymous with each other, so who cares? It makes no sense. Like, they're kind of synonymous. Like when you look at a hot girl and you think she's hot and she's wearing certain clothes or she's dressed a certain way, you're not gonna think geek. But if you see a Poindexter type dude, you're gonna think, oh, he's a nerd and or geek. He's in probably D&D or some shit like that. Like I'm saying, like you're going to make that distinction based on the stereotype. Let's be honest here. Like, what the fuck? Is that really something to really change between the two? No, it's not. Come on. If you was born in the 90s, shit, 80s, 90s, 2000s, mid 2000s, 2010s, you know what I'm talking about. Any movies before 2016, before things went left, any stereotypical things was normal. Like a nerd was usually a dude gets beat up. He's usually in D&D. He's usually academically sound, or he's not that athletic, right? But usually, two things are usually apparent. If he's a Poindexter, or even if he's not into he's not that. No. I'm saying just because if I'm talking about between the time frames between the 80s all the way to like mid 2010s, right? And then it's like, if most cases, whether they're not academically sound like that, they're usually considered not super athletic, and they're still into like D&D, they're into anime, they're into like comic books, manga, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's usually a main staple of that. So I don't know what is, like, you have to really make a distinction between those things. Which artists influence you the most, and which artists influence you so? Please I want what? I want you to teach me. Yeah, you gotta go, my YouTube channel's up there. I have tutorials up there to teach. I have a video coming out what's today? Saturday? I have a video coming out next week, so look out for that video. It's coming out on Thursday or Friday.
Kind of ironic, but...
which artists influence you the most, and what do you think? I think if I were talking about Instagram, the artist that influenced me the most now, like currently, is Rhino Tuna. I like how the way he renders his work. For those who know who that is, I've talked about him thousands of times. He's a Korean artist. He's really good at making things look semi-realistic with the anime look. The way he has his art style, I really enjoy the way he paints. I wish I can paint like him, because that'll bring a lot of more quality to my work, at least with my VTubing models. So, but he's number one for me.
Because the people making these distinctions couldn't even be bothered to Google the actual definition of these terms. So nerd, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is a person who is extremely interested in one subject, especially computers, and knows a lot of facts about it. And another definition of nerd can also be, according to Cambridge Dictionary, a person, especially a man, who is not attractive and is awkward or socially embarrassing.
What? Oh, fuck you! No! Back that up! What? No! That's bullshit. Wait, let me see. Where's the video? What the fuck's the video? Oh no, it's up here. Okay, I see why. Pull that
A
back.
person, and another definition of nerd can also be, according to Cambridge Dictionary, a person, especially a man, who is not attractive and is awkward or socially embarrassed.
That's bullshit. So you're considered a nerd most likely if you're a man. It doesn't apply to women. So what do you call women who are unattractive and also awkward and socially embarrassed? Like, let's say a person, especially a man, they really got specific, who is not attractive and awkward or socially. What do you call women then? Nerdettes? What do you call them? Is there a word for women? I'm pretty sure there isn't.
Brightroclose says pretty much unfortunately.
That's bullshit.
Both of these definitions do not specify any academic requirements and can be applied to enjoyers of many different fandoms and hobbies.
I don't lack motivation. The reason I don't lack it is because my ultimate goal is to improve. That's the ultimate goal. It's not to be the best, it's to improve. Those are two different things. Being the best can be more damaging to your psyche than just improving. Because improving means you're always going to be improving. It never says there's going to be an end goal. So the end goal never stops. So I would always, my motivation is to improve no matter what. Whether it's good enough in a professional way or in my own personal way. The point is to just improve in general. This is why a lot of you ask me the question, why don't you do a lot of art pieces? The reason I don't do a lot of art pieces is because I don't think it's good enough, so I always improve. I always focus on improving, so I do like gesture drawing. I do studies every time. This is why I don't do a lot of art pieces like that. The only time you guys see me do an art piece like this or anything like that is when I'm doing commission work for a client. Now I'm doing artwork because now I have to prove to the client that I can provide. Let me see. I can provide. I'm testing myself on everything I've been doing up to this point to apply it to what someone's paying for. So I'm going all out at that point. But when I'm doing studies, I'm not going all out. I'm trying to understand. A lot of you try to do this thing where you're trying to improve but do artwork at the same time. You get demotivated because it doesn't look good, so therefore you think you're not improving. You're improving, you're just putting too much focus on something that's not important. That's the problem. Someone asked a question. They said, can you said thing you think good for an artist who starts to draw anime? Can you rewrite that again? I'm not really sure what you're trying to ask. Like, can you said thing you think good for an artist who starts? I think your question is, what is my opinion on people who start drawing on anime first? Or are you asking, should you draw anime first as a beginner? Is that what you're asking? Some type of like form of advice? Okay, but I don't know what the question is. I don't know if I'm reading it right. I think I'm rereading it wrong.
It takes all sorts to be an insufferable
try to rewrite that. I'll answer your question, but try to rewrite that again. I'm not sure what you're asking.
loser. I would know. I am one. Being a nerd quite literally just means being very, very enthusiastic about something that you like and typically containing a lot of knowledge about it. So in all technicality, you can be a nerd.
I don't do art books. I do art books. The issue here is a lot of people don't get. It's like, I don't do art books. I use my mind's eye, look at it, and then break it down in pieces. Do the 8 fundamentals. Understand the 8 fundamentals. Mostly you won't have this issue. And this will ultimately fix the whole anatomy and proportions problem, and also answer most of y'all questions of the whole art style issue, because a lot of you Oh, you want to start? Oh, well, first, before you get into anime style or any type of style, whether it's furry art or anime art or rubber hose or whatever the fuck, you need to learn the 8 fundamentals. I have a video of that. Since you're on YouTube, you can type in my name and put fundamentals. The video will come up. It will have a number 8 next to my character, and then you'll watch the video where to start. This will apply to everything. So even if you're trying to draw realistically, like super hyper realistic stuff, to super stylized anime or rubber hose or cartoons, right? These still apply all the same. So I would suggest go watch that video. It will explain the whole 8 fundamentals concept, and I'm making videos on those concepts in the most basic way for anyone to understand. And then once we get through the basics, I'm going to do more a mid-advanced one, and then a highly advanced expert, and then the whole series will be done. I have a video coming out next week. Well, you have to pay for that. And that's free if that's what you're asking.
About sports, for example, if you know a lot about your favorite team, you are a nerd for that team. You are very read up on it. Again, these interests could be something academic like science, or they could be something niche and nerdy and not at all based in reality, such as the SCP Foundation.
Correct.
Being a nerd is not constrained to some
there's more tutorials there if you want to.
Sort of intellectual requirement. And as for the definition of geek, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, once again, a geek is someone who is very interested in a particular subject and knows a lot about it, or someone who is intelligent but not fashionable or popular. Oh, gee whiz, it almost looks like TikTok commenters got it wrong again, and that geek and nerd are quite literally interchangeable terms that almost have the identical meaning. And the same attitude of gatekeeping quickly overran this trend, with people taking part citing Lululemon, Crumble Cookie, chain restaurants, and of course products as their nerd out moment, immediately inciting the wrath of the internet as they got dragged and mocked online.
This feels more like a girl problem than it is like a whole like people problem, community problem. This feels more focused on females than it is. Bella seen. Hey Bella, how are you? Can you give advice on drawing anime? I'm pretty good. To answer your question, Said, you gotta go watch my video on that, because if I do that now, people are gonna get bored. I'm technically entertaining and doing work. I'm trying to get this done for 7, so you have to go watch my video on that. Just type in my name and put in the word fundamentals, and then you'll get what you want. You'll get your answer.
You need to nerd out. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yeah.
And you know what, sure, it is
No,
kind
you're
of odd
fine,
to me
you're
that
fine.
people genuinely do believe that chain restaurants
Okay,
or
that's not
brands
sorry,
or products are something they consider a hobby, something that they genuinely consider themselves very, very passionate about. It does kind of miss the point of the trend, and it still feels like a manufactured way of seeming palatable to people that you're trying to impress, trying to fit in, once again, within mainstream society, something which is actively against what this trend is all about and trying to promote. And I'm sure people like this do just genuinely exist. People who do genuinely just really love Taco Bell, or people who genuinely do really love Crumble Cookie, or name brand restaurants, or name
Why does this feel like a low-key video to like suck off the idea of billion-dollar companies because of consumerism?
brand products? People do probably genuinely love Target in the same way that I love figure collecting, or I love a weird anime. And if anything, that should speak to a wider issue in society where people are almost rigidly put in this box of expectations from a very young age about what is and isn't acceptable to enjoy. Because I don't know a single kid that grows up without some sort of weird hobby, weird habit, weird passion that they genuinely love. How many little girls grew up loving doing weird makeup as a kid, but very quickly got taught around the age of 12 or 13 that doing that in school is no longer socially acceptable and will get you ostracized, and therefore made the decision to do this trad wife, clean girl-esque style makeup to appeal to everyone else who is also feeling that same form of pressure.
They hate trad wives. I know, like people like this hate that.
A lot of people in life who do base their choices around the comfort and enjoyment of others. People who do genuinely try to make themselves palatable even when they're not being—
Who's pushing trad wife shit? Like, who's pushing trad wife shit? Like, anyone knows if you're pushing trad wife shit, you're gonna get a blowback.
Perceived. And so again, when you see people doing this trend and that's
Brightroclos says I'm just going to assume his shoes are his
I
feet.
don't feel malice or anger towards them for participating. I kind of feel bad for them. I feel genuinely bad that even during a trend that is meant to promote this kind of loser cool, weird girl, quirky vibe.
I don't know what it is, but Kyo, I don't know why you keep getting censored. It's kind of making me mad. And you're not saying anything insane. That's what's pissing me off the most. Let me see. I'm gonna read out your comment because it's not letting me open it. Nerding out for Taco Bell is something alright. Is it? Maybe. You might be right on that. Maybe.
They still can't let go of that palatable instillness that they've had about being socially accepted. Some people probably do genuinely believe that they love Taco Bell or crumble cookie or tanning oil or drunk elephant makeup this much. Some people probably do feel like that because maybe that is all they were ever told was the right thing to like, the appropriate thing to enjoy.
Who the fuck is telling you any of this? Who the fuck is out here ostracizing people who like Taco Bell? What is she talking about? Can someone tell me what the fuck is she talking about? I'm confused. Who the hell is out here just like there's people who don't like Taco Bell or McDonald's. I get that, but like who's out here just having a campaign hate train on people who just into like Taco Bell, eating the food, or I guess nerding out about it. Who's doing this? What the fuck? This sounds like a woman thing to a degree. No hate to women. It's not a woman thing, but it's a woman thing. I feel like this is a woman thing. This is something women tell to other women. I don't think men are telling this to women. I don't think men give a literal shit about what you want to eat. As a man, I will give a fuck if my girlfriend told me, oh, I want to get some Taco Bell. I'm out here ostracizing her for some Taco Bell. Like, what the fuck? Am I the minority? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. I don't know anyone who's like out here ostracizing people for Taco Bell, crumble cookie, or even Starbucks or some shit. I don't know.
Because to be clear, if they weren't actively participating in the bullying of people like me as a teenager, they were probably
Brightroclos
watching
says
other people do
LMAO.
it and didn't want to incite that same kind of harassment and
It's harassment and bullying when you tell someone, oh, you like Taco Bell? I don't fuck with that. That's bullying? Oh man, we are fucked.
loneliness. But you know what's even more insufferable than basic people who don't seem to have a hobby or a personality? The people dragging them online. You guys are
Correct. The cheesecake. Yes, you're right. The cheesecake factory has never has morphed itself not into a dinner place anymore. It's a treat type thing. It's a I guess to most women who are in a specific time in their lives or they make a certain amount of money, it's a broke dude's way of trying to get you to date them or get a cheap way to go on a date. You're better off saying, let's get coffee before you say, let's go and get a cheesecake. Go to Cheesecake Factory, I guess. You're better off just saying, let's go get some coffee instead of Starbucks, I guess.
even worse. You guys are even more insufferable.
Some people should just not be allowed to partake in trends. Because the You Need a Nerd Out trend has been completely ruined by people who think that going to fucking Taco Bell is nerding out. We might be losing the plot a little bit, but the whole point of the nerd out trend
I didn't know nerding out is eating a Taco Bell. I didn't know that was a nerd thing. I thought that was like a sociable, cultured thing where we go eat at a fast food place. I never saw it like a... I know people wear an ironic shirt of like a Taco Bell logo on their shirt. I know they sell that like in like Target and shit. I get that. But like, that's as close of the nerding, I guess, in my head. But I didn't know there's people who are making literal videos. Like, I can understand if they're making a video of like a Taco Bell new Supreme deal that's going on because they're a food review type thing. I get that. But when you're doing shit like this, I'm like, the word hobby is being bastardized to a degree. I'm just saying.
to know a shit ton, a stupid amount of information about a specific topic. Some bitch put down fucking Chipotle.
Or even weirder and more annoying still, the ones that are calling the shots as to what is now considered nerdy. Gatekeeping the term for only the chosen few who know what a real nerd is, who understand what being a real fan means.
As someone who literally did this trend but with the try not to lose your head sound, and I got a good amount of views on Instagram and TikTok, y'all are some haters! I can't tell you how many comments I got on both of those videos on Instagram and TikTok of people being like, you're actually not that nerdy. That's just mainstream media. Like, you are not gonna gatekeep liking something. What? The whole point of this trend is just to show things that you like.
I agree.
You can be a nerd about anything. It doesn't have to be mainstream or...
I get that because, like, okay, just to let you guys know, for those who don't know, the reason why I just end up pausing like that is because I have the text to speaks in my ear. So when people speak, I have to stop and listen so I can hear what they have to say. So if it seems like I'm just talking to myself, I'm not. I'm literally have text to speak in my ear. I would play it through the thing, but that will go left for obvious reasons. So, yeah, I understand that. I get that because like if you don't have a Taco Bell in your area and the one that's far away, that's like an hour away, I guess you can see it as a trip per se. I guess, but like I'm not gonna lie to you, Taco Bell is not like worth an hour drive for because it's just any other fast food restaurant. It's not like you're going to like a fancy schmancy like resort, you know, or you're going to like a very fancy restaurant that might be an hour away because it's super fancy, it's super nice, it's super this. I get that, but when you're going to like a restaurant that's just like a place where you get like a $5 like tacos for $1 each, I'm like,
more niche. Just because I didn't like a game that was on Steam and had 2 players ever play it and get relentlessly bullied for liking that game doesn't mean I'm not nerding out about these things. What are you talking about?
Apparently Marvel is no longer nerdy, and neither are Netflix shows like Stranger Things or One Piece. Because, you know, if it's mainstream and enjoyed and it's on a major streaming platform, that automatically means that it's no longer nerdy, because everyone can access it. Oh, you like anime? Name 3 of her songs. I'll wait. So dumb. I feel like we all died and went to hell. Because why are teenagers who were still in nappies when I started cosplaying and collecting figurines suddenly telling others that their passions and hobbies are no longer valid? Telling big creators like Funky Frogbait that they're an overconsumer because they made a video dressing up a Labubu? Literally one singular Labubu. Just one. Or how about worse still, the adult fans that never got over being bullied. So now choose to make others feel like shit online for not having the same perceived struggles that they did. God forbid a good-looking blonde woman says that she enjoyed the latest Superman movie without a bully circle forming around her from people who are chronically online. I'm gonna hold you by the pocketbook when I say this.
oh, okay. Okay.
God forbid a good-looking blonde woman says that she enjoyed the latest Superman movie without a bully circle forming around her from people who are chronically online.
God forbid a good-looking blonde woman says that she has nice genes. I mean, call the racist because y'all have to take it to an extreme where it didn't need to be. And that's so kind familiar, don't you think? I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. A big titty, blue-eyed blonde woman saying she has nice genes somehow was like insane dog whistle to the blue hairs. Like, are you serious? Oh shit! And then like if
Brightroclose says nice jeans.
But and it was wild. I think Beyonce did the same fucking thing, but no one said anything. Plus, she had blonde platinum hair in her head, something she did not grow. Like, are you in the commercial? I think you can look it up. But it's wild. That shit is funny as fuck. The irony in that.
Hold you by the pocketbook when I say this, but being wailed on, being picked on, being bullied doesn't make you special. You're just perpetuating that same cycle of abuse when you choose to make others who you don't know or don't care to learn about feel ostracized or uninvited for trying to enjoy the same things that you do. Well done! You became the exact person you
The only
hated.
thing she was missing was blue eye contacts. I wouldn't put it past her if she did that.
Saying this as somebody who hasn't been through it. I went through it. I was miserable, not only in secondary school, but I was also picked on in university. There was a whole group chat that just talked bollocks about me, and it really hurt when I got added back to that group chat and I saw everybody talking about me, realize that I was added, and then leave that chat. It sucked.
Then don't go. What? See, this is the funny thing about online bullying for me. Y'all cannot online bully me because I'm too fucking busy to care. Bro, what's the same thing here? What's the same from this one? From the last one? Please tell me. Wilted flower emoji. No, it wasn't. No, it was not. Wait, why would you come back? Why would you come back? Like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
Had a terrible uni experience, and I got taken out for a hot chocolate by the head of the uni because the situation was so bad.
I am honoured, sir. Thanks very much. Why me?
You're a virgin, aren't you, Mackenzie?
Sorry?
So again, I get it. I get how it
Brightroclose
feels to
says
feel
getting bullied in
lonely and
university is crazy
misunderstood, to feel
NGL.
like
It really is. Given the times we live in, that's kind of crazy.
people just don't get you, or worse still, they get you and they just choose to not like you. They choose to hurt you on purpose. But the biggest lesson that I have learned in life is truly to just not judge a book by its cover, as old and as cheesy as that statement is.
Okay.
When you grow up always being bullied for your hobbies or your fashion, which I very much was, because to be fair, at some points my fashion was a little bit questionable. It wasn't the best executed emo gothic style fashion, but I gave it an attempt. But growing up that way, it really does make you feel bitter and resentful. You don't understand why people your age are choosing to hurt you. Having people mock your mannerisms, things that you don't even know or notice about yourself, really makes you feel insecure. I had that a lot. I had people do that quite often. And it's very easy to—
I don't know, this feels like a woman problem. Am I wrong for saying that? I feel kind of wrong for saying that, but I feel this is like a female problem per se. Like, this is a nerdy, geeky girl female problem per se, that she had to make a video on this. I'm not saying guys may not deal with this, but I don't think they give a flying fuck half the time, because it's just the internet. That's just kind of how things go.
To foster this deep-seated anger towards people that you perceive to emulate the behavior and appearance of people who hurt you. I took real personal umbrage with things like Paul's boutique jackets, tanning lotion, blonde hair.
Bro, this is a fucking woman problem. What is she talking about? This is bothering you? Oh man, you gotta get off the internet. Get off the internet.
Fake eyelashes, and anything that could be considered mainstream or hyper feminine. In fact, I genuinely kind of think that I was pushed down a—
Those are feminine things, per se. You may have gay guys that are probably into that too, but that's
Brightroclose says not the Stanley Cup.
Not the Stanley Cup, right? Like, I understand that gay men exist and they're probably into those things too, but like, that's what that is. Like, I don't see the problem. Like, these are just little, like, this is consumerism problems for like girls to a degree. Like, no one gives a fuck. Like, I get what she's trying to say, but I'm like, was this really worth making a video about? She needs to take a break from this. Yeah, social media. She's mad at the fact that people are making fun of people who are using Stanley cups because it's super feminine. I'm like, so? Who gives a fuck?
a very similar pipeline to how the 2025 manosphere works. I was very bent out of shape and bitter about the way that I'd been treated emotionally and physically from people that I had to spend a lot of time around. And it took a long time to quietly unlearn having all of these preconceived judgments and opinions on people that I simply hadn't gotten to know yet. Especially as a nerdy woman, because to be honest, and I feel like a lot of people will agree—
Hey, if we're doing definitions, you can't call yourself a woman. I mean, you can't call yourself a nerdy woman. If we're doing definitions here, because this only describes mainly men, you can't use this for yourself. Remember this. I got you, bitch. I got you, bitch. You can't be using definitions and not following it yourselves. What the fuck? It describes mainly men. They don't even refer to women in the slightest, or anyone. What are you doing?
Up until more recently, a lot of these spaces were still very actively catering to men, or were heavily dominated at in-person events by men. If you decided to
at Stanley Cups, what men are overtaking Stanley Cups? Shit, I might be out of the loop, guys. It's stuck with her so badly. It stuck with her so badly throughout the years that she had to make a video about it way later than it should have been said. We went through this too, and armor through the gaining emotional.
Brightroclose says y'all got a Stanley Cup? Teach.
Bro, I was not at that guy meeting that one day. I guess I missed that meeting. I guess for the men council that was going on, I guess I missed that day. I guess me and you missed that day. Probably in Mike, because I don't remember men just walking around with Stanley Cups. That probably worked for gay men to a degree, I guess. But then again, on the hetero way of things, I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about.
Turn up
Oh,
to
we're
a game
just
night to
doing,
play Pokemon
animatic.
cards at your local game shop, you're gonna have
I'm doing a-
mostly men there, or at least back when I
For
was
those
younger.
who don't know what's
and
going
quite-
on here, I'm doing an animatic for my mod. She started a trend, so she started a trend. For those who wanted to see from yesterday who didn't get to see it, I finished the One Piece for
Brightroclose
Craft.
says any guys in chat into Stanley Koopa?
I'm not even sure. But I did the One Piece piece for those One Piece piece. I did the One Piece piece for BB Craft, I think his name was. If anyone can get a hold of him, please let me know, because I need to send this to him, because this is supposed to be his. He purchased this. I've been waiting on him to come back. He didn't come back yet. I don't know where he went. I was kind of hoping that he came back the following day, but I don't know. If he ever comes in, guys, please let me know. His name is BB Craft. If he comes back, please let me know so I can send this to him on Discord, because I don't know his Discord. So. And for those who don't know what we're doing, I'm doing a quick animatic for my mod. She wanted me to take part in her trend, her Transformers trend. So I'm making these, what do they call it? Storyboarding. I'm storyboarding this so I can just make the characters. So.
Often that put you in a situation as a woman where you're either
And
being
for those
told
who don't know what's going on behind me or on the top of my head, if you're watching this on TikTok, you can see it on the screen. If you're watching from YouTube, it's behind me. Behind my V-Twing model, we're reacting to videos while I do artwork, and I'm getting you guys insights and interacting with you at the same time.
down to underestimated, or you're being groomed as a potential romantic partner. And so
What?
it doesn't really instill or foster positive
Where's this coming
feelings
from?
towards other people or healthy relationships to navigate adult life with. And I honestly do think one of the biggest things that cemented my genuine appreciation for people who do come from different atmospheres, walks of life, fashion than I do, was actually just going to like a local hair salon and nail place. Because to be honest, a lot of the women who worked there did look like girls who picked on me when I was a teenager. They made me feel initially uncomfortable, not because of anything
Is that
that
from
they
the same
did,
company
but
that makes
because
the
of my
Stanley
lived
Cups?
experiences.
They're
I
from the
felt
same
very
company?
anxious and distrustful of
Brightroclose
them.
says,
Putting
wait,
my
go back.
hair,
How did
which
she
is
get
a
there?
big part of my fashion style and my identity, in the hands of people who I didn't really know understood.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. Maybe you like this. I don't know. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something, bro. Be part of the crew, bro. Don't hate. Don't be mad. Be part of this. You can be part of this. We're welcoming you in this stream, bro. Watch this show with us. Make fun of this lady. Well, not making fun of her, but making fun of her concepts. Come on. Don't be a stick in the mud. And no, that's not a gay slur.
Understood me or liked me or understood what I was going for. And you know what? I was completely wrong about them. I didn't have a single negative experience with any single woman in that salon, any single nail artist in that joint. The absolute worst case was that the woman was perfectly polite and friendly towards me, but we didn't have a lot in common. We couldn't talk about Love Island or anything like that because I don't watch those shows. But equally, we still were polite and nice to each other. We just talked about other things, more casual small talk things. And the best case scenario was I actually learned very quickly that a lot of these women, despite looking completely different from me, being considered basic and uninteresting, actually did have hobbies and similarities to me that made me have a really good conversation with them. We talked about Hello Kitty, we talked about
I
going
can't do
on
this
holiday.
anymore. I thought this was gonna be a fandom thing, like anime, or making fun of like anime fandoms because of how toxic they're insanely like insane. But this became a video about women and their fandoms. She made that very broad when she said fandoms have become insufferable. She's not talking about anime. She's talking about consumerism issues for women. You got me. I got morbidly curious. You pulled me in your bullshit, lady. Okay. Pressure is getting worse. Okay, let's go with something a little bit more. Okay, so it says here, Nicki Minaj crash out is getting worse. This might be actually funny. Let's hope for this. We watch everything from anime, pop culture stuff, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. If it seems interesting, I'll play it. But then again, it is. We can watch anything from anime clips, TikTok stuff, cringe videos. It doesn't matter. If as long as it like literally interests me and it sounds fun, we'll watch it. So this says here, Nicki Minaj. Oh no, this is 44
Brightroclose says,
minutes.
dang, how she been?
This is 44 minutes. I don't think you guys want to hear about Nicki Minaj crashing out for 44 straight minutes. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I think 20 to 10 minutes is fine. I think when it gets too long, that's when it overstays its welcome. Let me see. I want to watch it, but then I'm like, I'm not even a big fan of Nicki Minaj like that. But should I play it? Okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it hears. We might 44 minutes become 20 minutes because it might be really interesting.
Very few people on the globe who are as beloved by her fans as Nicki Minaj. Ever since she exploded onto the scene as the first lady of Young Money, she found an audience in those who longed for a woman to assert themselves in an industry that had been dominated by men for so long. Along the way, she cultivated a rabid fan base of barbs who would defend her at all costs. And over the years, she's put them to work, with Nicki never exactly being shy of saying precisely what's on her mind. At times, she's gone off about the double standards she believes women like her have to deal with in the game.
What people don't understand is that when I was doing this, I took a lot of shit from people, from men who didn't want me to realize my own worth, who didn't want me to know.
I forgot how much her accent is just very strange. I know she's from Trinidad, I think. She lives in New York, but like Jesus Christ, something about her voice throws me off.
The truth about who I was and how good I was. Like I had people literally like speak to labels that wanted to sign me and wouldn't tell me, and I just dealt with a lot of stuff from guys. I've just always felt like I'm never gonna let anyone pull me down, make me feel small. I'm never gonna let a man do that. And I think sometimes that transfers over into your career as a woman and you feel like, wait a minute, excuse me? What?
On other occasions, she's made headlines at award shows, including shooting her shots at other celebrities.
Shout out to Donatella Versace for custom making this outfit for me, and shout out to Michael B. Jordan because he's gonna be taking it off of me tonight.
But for Nicki, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because over the years, she's used her platform to wreak havoc in the lives of others, launching entire smear campaigns against journalists to the point that they get doxxed, or trying to silence those who disagree with her.
Who gives a f what she popped? But don't sit here and say you ain't popped a fucking pill.
I never said that.
An apple.
I never said that, you dumb fuck.
Brightroclose says, I'll send you a video.
Fucking dumb, you ain't hear what the fuck I said? Well, you like tearing down women when they can't defend themselves. He's so used to thinking he's the smartest person in the fucking room.
And most of the time, those people got off easy compared to some of her rivals, who've had to deal with years of heat from not just Nicki, but her barbs, who ride out with a vengeance every single time. It's your boy Luesta, and this is why Nicki Minaj's crash outs are getting worse. It all seemed so quiet on the Barb's front for a little while, with Nicki seemingly focusing on herself and her family following the extensive touring that followed Pink Friday 2. But if you followed Nicki for a while, you know it doesn't take much. Any little slight she feels is enough to get her riled up and send her army into battle. Most recently, she's been fighting on two fronts, with her always chaotic X account acting as her weapon of choice. And as she spirals, it now seems like everyone who hasn't pledged their allegiance to her fan club a long time ago is struggling to wrap their heads around her increasingly unhinged claims. Because while she used to handle controversy with at least some sense of control, the Nicki we see today has people, even some longtime fans, asking how anyone could still defend her. I actually like a good chunk of her music. She is basically impossible to like as a person though. To listen to her music, I basically have to pretend I haven't seen
it. Says here, the term West Indies refers to a group of islands located in the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. While the term is sometimes used interchangeably by Caribbean, it specifically describes the colonial holdings of the various European powers. Let me see. Therefore, Trinidad and Tobago is considered part of the geographical region as the West Indies, or aren't they called West Indies? West Indian? Because it says, therefore, Trinidad and Tobago is considered part of the geographical region known as the West Indies or Caribbean. Yeah, I'm right. I think I'm right? Trinidad and Tobago is a sovereign island located in the South Island. Yeah. Okay, because I'm not crazy. I was like, what? Shit.
Anything she's done, said, or tweeted
Yeah.
in the last
What was
decade.
like?
Reading some of the replies on here had me concerned for folks after a family member was recently diagnosed with schizophrenia. So how did we even get here? How did Nicki go from a beloved superstar to someone people now see as spiraling from inside her mansion, ranting about anything and everything? Well, to look at how it generally plays out, look no further than her recent confrontations with not just people, but entire entities in the culture. First off, there was the decision to go after TDE's Punch, and by extension, the former management client SZA. In a spree of posts that looked to have come from out of nowhere, Nicki went after a then unnamed TDE exec over alleged mistreatment. LOL, y'all remember that man on TDE who kept bullying me on Twitter for no reason? We have the receipts. I never even responded to him. What was his name again, y'all? I'm gonna give him a nickname. I'ma call him minus 30 million from now on. Hashtag justice for Demori. Soon after, she made it clear that it was actually the label's longtime CEO Punch that she was going after. Guarantee you wouldn't fight a man. We have every tweet of your incessant bullying, lying, and more. Your name was added to that shit list shitty drawer. Same thing that make you laugh.
I find it weird when a rapper says the word bullying. I find it weird. I find that so strange.
Make you shit, followed by a photo of Punch. But despite all the big talk, no receipts were forthcoming. Instead, it seemed like this feud started like so many of them do, with Nicki taking things personally, even when they weren't directed at her. In actual fact, the catalyst appeared to be something entirely separate from her, with Nicki's paranoia leading her to interpret Punch's promotion of the track Broken Barbies from the new TDE signee, I Am Lyric. And considering that they had been cool before, it left people confused about what went wrong.
So I reached out to Punch from TDE, who I also talked about in the first hour, who was at one point managing SZA. And I asked him, how did we get here? So he said, back in 2020, Nicki Minaj had reached out for a SZA feature on a song. He responded and told Nicki Minaj that SZA was in album mode heavy and that he would get it over to her. And that was it. They never spoke again. Feature didn't happen, but he says he's lost after that as well. And so then I followed up and I said, okay, so there was no further issue. Like, I still don't understand from that, how did we get here?
But like many of Nicki's feuds, it didn't stop there. Before you knew it, more people were getting dragged into the chaos. This time around, it was longtime TDE signee SZA who declared, Mercury retrograde, don't take the bait, LOL. Silly goose. Almost instantly, Minaj responded to that remark, which might have had nothing to do with her, by writing, go draw your freckles back on, Buki, liar liar pants on fire, sounding like a fucking dead dog. While SZA normally isn't shy about speaking her mind and has had many online run-ins with Punch herself, it seemed like she didn't really want to go back and forth with Nicki, brushing it off by saying, I don't give a fuck about none of the shit you popping. Still, Nicki took it as a cue to go on the offensive, clowning SZA's looks and hinting that she only made it by cozying up to the right people behind the scenes. She used to be on Twitter dissing Rihanna, CJ, etc. But then, when it was time to suck Zick and get opportunities from them, she drew them freckles on and got to sucking, right? Stop being jealous of women you would secretly kill to be up their assholes. These men putting batteries in y'all backs and y'all stupid enough to...
I do know about that situation, but I don't play Roblox to care enough, but I understand why that's a big problem. Yeah, that didn't go well for Roblox. They should have did a better job trying to word that. I think they banned him. Did they ban him, I think? That shit didn't go well for Roblox. That was kind of dumb on the CEO's behalf. That was really stupid.
To still keep it going, not peeping that it's not going to end well for them or you. Shut up, ugly. I'm in a meeting, so I don't know if you was still talking shit or not. So if you didn't, I'll delete later. Ho. With Minaj still unwilling to let it go, she then headed onto her typically explosive station head channel to further try to defame her.
And so everything I said was real.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck about this anymore. Do you guys give a shit about this? I don't give a shit about this. I thought this was interesting, but this is just pissing me off. I'm not even paying attention. I kind of like in and out. I'm like, do you guys give a fuck about this? No, I don't give a fuck about this. Shit's stupid. I don't even care about this. This is 44 minutes long. I don't even know what's... she's pissed off about something. Oh, let me see here. Let's find something way better than this. Trying to censor video games like collective shout. Oh my god, another one? Holy shit, another one? Oh no,
Well,
no.
ladies and
No,
gentlemen, you
actually
could have
no, because he uses R word. I can't. He'd be using hard R on the mental side of things. I'm not gonna do that. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me go to it now. Discord. Boop. 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 Hold on, guys. I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna just lead to bad things.
Jolliancher says they want to change Mario Kart. Wait, FR?
The furry.
It's pretty sure. Okay. Oh, not this one.
Scale.
Okay.
The furry scale. What are we going to be talking about here? This is the furry scale. This is a sort of classification for, one, the most simple question of all. Like, are you a furry? Okay, so what's one? Baseline person, both cat ears and a cat tail. And this is commonly known as not furry. Two, we're still upright, but we're getting a little more feral. We still got a pretty...
Pause that. Listen. Okay. Where is it? The fuck? Hold on. Okay, that's there. There it is. I was like, what? Okay. I'm gonna put this, since this is elongated, I'll have to move me a little bit. Or, fuck. Hey! Get back over there. Okay. Here. No, I'll put it right here. Shit, fuck it. I'm gonna move myself. Grab me. There we go. Okay. I gotta figure out how to make navigate. I may have to do a super overhaul of my whole layout here. Change a bunch of like the look of things. Alright, there it is. So you guys can actually see it for those who are there. Alright. I'm gonna move Gunther. Gunther, you gotta move, bud. I'll put you right here. There you go. Cozy. So you're safe. Oh, there you go, Gunther. My little guy. So up on him. There you go. That's a little Gunther. Alright, let's play this again. Pull this back.
The furry scale. What are we going to be talking about here? This is the furry scale. This is a sort of classification for, one, the most simple question of all. Like, are you a furry? Okay, so what's one? Baseline person, both cat ears and a cat tail. And this is commonly known as not furry. Two, we're still upright, but we're getting a little more feral. We still got a pretty humanoid face. You can look in their eyes and still see a soul. Semi-furry. Three is where we start to become more animalistic. We are becoming much more primal. We're returning to monkey. This is where the line is crossed. There is a clear distinction between 4 and 3. Way more animalistic. But I would like to point out that here we're still maintaining it still has a soul. There's still a human mind, maybe. Dangerously furry. 5. That's just an animal.
If you own this, you need to be locked.
Oh, fuck. Sorry about that. So that was dangerously furry. Okay. So there is a scale. So the scale does exist to a degree. The guy kind of made it simple. I made it more complicated. Correct. Let me see.
Jolliancher says yay.
So we have Monte Sensei here, and he says here, Anime Taurus has FOMO. I ran into a anime tourist just the other day. bitch really did not know how to handle things.
Up. If you see this and don't see a problem with it, you should probably seek some help. Personally think this is one of those things in anime culture that needs to be purged.
This is the type of person that can't distinguish between fiction and reality. I think anime is so popular that it gives a lot of people FOMO that don't have a natural interest in anime. They want to problematize it so much that it fits their taste and forcing themselves to be a fan of something they're not naturally into because they don't want to miss out on what everybody else is enjoying. This is another myth. Man. So, anime used to be made by Japanese men with severe autism. Now it's made...
What the fuck? What? Severe autism. The fuck got that? Who the fuck? Okay. The you know what's funny? It's funny how you look at old 80s sci-fi anime. My god, the drawings were intricate as shit. It was intricate as shit. Like, you have to draw all that? Oh my god.
Ran by Coomers almost exclusively. Obviously, see that when I hear those type of takes, it makes me think, yo, did you just discover anime yesterday? If anything, in the 90s, in the 80s, fan service was like, you think fan service for the tourists that think fan service is a problem now? In the 80s and 90s, fan service was all
Very
over the
much.
place. It was just free reign, which I love. And somebody says, spoken like someone who doesn't watch any anime. Anime nowadays is ironically more tame than ever. Right, and I agree. I agree. Anime now is more tame than ever, which, in my opinion, that's a bad thing because it's trying to cater to modern sensibilities, not even modern Western sensibilities. Japanese fans don't care about that shit. And here's a good scene, like Cowboy Bebop. Like, this is one of my favorite scenes of Faye, right? I mean, Jesus. Waifu Faye. So that, I mean, when I see takes like this makes me think, yo, are you someone who just discovered anime yesterday? Like, you obviously haven't watched anime from decades ago when shit was free. Fan service was just fully integrated with anime. Right, here we go. Yo, Ninja Scroll, if anybody know, give me a sec. This is my mom calling real quick. All right, I'm back. My fault. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Ninja Scroll, come on, yo. Like, Golden Boy, like, yo, what are you talking about? Anime was yo, come on, man. Look at this shit. If anything, bring it back. This is a Wicked City. Is this Wicked? Yeah, this is a Wicked City. Come on, y'all.
Yo, times was
Lupin,
different back then,
come
bro.
on, y'all.
Jolliancher
Yo,
says,
with
oh
the
my.
fans, I mean, with the oh shit. Oh man, like this obviously comes from somebody who just discovered anime. Oh no, I'm just a for real though, man. This is like the
Hell
perfect
yeah.
semblance of like, oh
I think
yeah,
one of my favorite
Taurus.
episodes, my favorite scenes of Golden Boy is when he's in the pool.
Like, the future of anime is still up in the air. It's like really no telling where it's gonna go. Like, people like this shouldn't be taken seriously, which I don't think anybody's taking this guy seriously. Being like, weirdness is part of the medium that is anime. Okay, so the bigger the community gets, the more this is really with any fandom or any medium. And shout out Espiritu. I saw his video on this today, and this is the perfect example of a tourist. Many of y'all probably saw it already,
You
but
own this, you need to be locked up. You ever put something like this in your cart, be locked up. If you see this and don't see a problem with it, you should probably seek some help. Now, I understand this has always been a thing in the anime community, but at some point we have to draw a line somewhere. Y'all tried to say I was the problem when I said people who buy the half-naked Frieren statue are weirdos. Because Frieren looks like a teenager. Y'all try to use the...
So this is here, and I've actually said this on one of my videos too. I forgot what...
No. I will defend this to a degree. Frieren is a petite, short woman. That does exist. And she doesn't like... I have the problem with this where the character is 3,000 years old. They're drawn childlike, and they act like a child. That's where the problem comes in, because it's like, there's women who are short, there's women who are 4'8", there are women who are literally like 4 foot tall. That exists. But to think because she's short or she's a bit petite, that makes her look like a child. No. The problem is that she doesn't behave like a child. That like she does not behave like a child. She actually acts like an old lady, if anything. There's not a lot of anime characters that act like that. Like Frieren, like the way Frieren acts, there's not a lot of them that act like that. Most of them act pretty childlike. And then they'll be like 3,000 years old, and then they'll be like having them wear like some type of like crazy, insane outfit. That if you saw this on, you would think that was a child wearing certain things. You're like, I don't know about this, bro. But Frieren ever rarely wears anything that's insane. I think the closest thing to like anything off was what she was like trying to woo the priest. And that was funny because even the way she was trying to woo him was super old like. Like she was super old with it, bro. And that was part of the charm. She's an old lady. She's literally an old lady. Like not even just by just the age that she is, but she literally has the mannerisms of an old lady, you know. I have a problem with it when they're 4 billion years old. They're drawn like a child. That was it was a yeah. She was no. I'm not talking about the outfit. I'm talking about her, how she was reacting, how she was acting per se. I'm not talking about the outfit. She was wearing that one scarf in the coat, and she did the blowing of the kiss. But like, she was not wearing anything insane, if ever, rarely. I guess the closest thing that ever happened to Frieren that was like, I guess, kind of like off is when the little boy ran up behind her and pulled up her skirt. Yeah, I'm talking about her mannerism, not her outfit. I'm not talking about that because there was nothing in Frieren that was actually problematic at all. There was no like panty shots or anything like that in that show. Nothing. The only thing close to that was the little boy who ran up on her when he was a child, when she was like much younger, and then he flipped up her skirt and ran away. But that young boy became like a very super old man now, so it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it with when people actually like Frieren the way they do because she's an old lady. She acts old. She acts mature for her age. Honestly, if most of you were to hang out with Frieren, most of you would not like Frieren. I'm not gonna lie to you. If most of you actually got to hang out with Frieren, most of you will find her boring. Most of you would call her a boomer. Like a super boomer. I'm not even kidding. She has old conservative ways if you think about it. She's not that like liberal in her the way they try to portray her. She's more conservative if you think about it. Like, perfect example of this is when she was doing the whole like demon thing. Anyone of this time would to watch how Frieren was reacting to the demons would think it's correct. Actually, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. The grandma from Dan and Dan is a lot more liberal-esque compared to Frieren. Sake, I forgot her name, but the grandma from Dan and Dan, and we're comparing the mannerisms of the Dan to Dan grandma and Frieren.
I forgot which video it was, but the goalpost is constantly shifting when tourists give their takes,
Psycho, yeah.
Where they consider this problematic or this too weird, and then you show an example of something else that counters that, and then they call that weird, and then they say it's like a circle of illogical takes, and because the takes counters themselves the more they move the goalpost. So first it's about age, then and then second it's about body types.
You said, oh, she's thousands of years old. No, she still looks like a teenager. They embark on their journey. Himmel is 16 and they look about the same age.
If he's asking about she looks like the same age, he did not watch the fucking show. She's a fucking elf. They don't age like that. Everyone knows that elves don't age like that, like humans do. They're kind of like Saiyans. Saiyans don't age till like what, 75? You don't actually see wrinkles on them till they're like 75 years old. They have the body of like a 20-year-old in their 20s all the way to like 75. They do not start aging till like 75 plus. It's literally an elf. It's in D&D lore. They do not age like that, like humans do. It's constantly referenced in the show how Freeren's looking at all humans like it's not that big of a deal. Like 50 years? Oh, that's not a big deal. That's like 5 minutes to me. Like the fuck, like that's literally the premise of the whole show. The fact that life is passing her by in a way, right? Yeah, that shit is dumb. The whole premise of Furin is it's literally a slice of life message of don't let life pass you by through the lens of an a creature that doesn't really age like that. And they write Furin in a way that makes sense, because remember, when you have all the, like, think of it, when you was a kid, you thought you had all the time in the world to do whatever the fuck you want. Especially if you had no responsibilities, nothing like that. You, like, if you wanted to learn how to draw and you was 5, you will not put the emphasis of drawing like that at the age of 5 like you are at like 26. Because now there's a time gap and a time like schedule you have to abide by, whether your responsibilities is school, work, if you have kids, if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? It's that understanding that you don't always have time to do what you want. You take the time you have for granted. So even though she was like saving the world back in the day with her old team, life was actually passing her by because she always felt she had time to do whatever the fuck she want. But the people that she was enjoying or tend to what she was doing at the time did not realize how important they were. See? And that's the whole premise of the show. If this dude is saying this shit, he didn't watch the show. The whole show is a slice of life to tell you, do not let life pass you by. Take every second and soak it up the best way you can, because life is not guaranteed to anyone. Life can be extremely short, or you can miss out on a lot of things if you let one thing overtake your life. Like, you can be a person who's super into your career. That could be a thing for you, but after you hit like 35, 45, fucking 50, you start looking back and like, all the things I was doing at the time when I had money, I could have did different things. Or how my life would have been if I went a different path. You will never know. And that's going to be an urging thing. Unlike someone like Frieren, who can live as long as she wants. She's not immortal, but she can live for a very long time. It was mentioned a lot, and it's mentioned nearly every fucking episode. There's not a one time her age is not brought up, in the sense of like how much she has missed out on the people she was around when what's his face was alive in X, Y, and Z. So if this dude is saying this and comparing someone like Demon Slayer, what's her name? Oh my god, the Demon Slayer girl, I forgot her name. Ryoko? What's her name again? I forgot her name. But if you're comparing her to someone like an elf, that's unfair as shit. That is unfair as hell. Like, this is the same dude who probably watches who hasn't seen Dungeons and Delicious. It's focused on race and understanding each other to a degree, on how we interact with one another based on our differences. Like a halfling, an elf, a human. Nezuko, there we go. You can't compare Nezuko to like someone like Frieren. It's not the same. And like, I understand what he's talking about, the Nezuko thing where you draw her very sexualized to a degree. I get that, because she's literally 13 or something, or 15 or something. And she's literally a child. She acts like a child, even when she's around her brother. The only time she's not acting like a child is when she's in a dangerous situation. But most of the time, she's acting really cutesy. She stays very quiet. She don't really speak because she can't really all that much. But now, since the latest episodes, and she shrinks herself so cute-like. So that perception of she being super childlike, I can understand why people will have a problem with this. But when someone like Frieren, from day one, she's an elf. She does not age. She acts like a literal old lady. There's no anime character that acts like an old lady. Yeah, they have those one anime characters who don't really like to talk much, but that doesn't mean that they're not acting like a child. They're just not talking as much. Frieren talks as much as she is quiet. She is very conservative in how she speaks and how she presents herself and carries herself. She feels like an old lady to me. Like, you can't really have the same, like, you can't compare someone like Nezuko to someone like Frieren. It is not the same. Especially in mannerisms. You cannot compare those two things as if that's the same thing. And there are short women who are petite that exist. Has the bro not been on Instagram?
There she is, literally hundreds.
Ben King. Wait, which one? Ben and King's sister. Let me see. I won't lie. I did not like the Ban and King's sister thing, even though I know she was Ban King. Ban King. What was it? Hold on. Oh yeah, and Asian women. They're not really all that known to be tall like that. Are you talking about Seven Deadly? Okay, yes. I was like, what? I thought you were talking about Fear. I was like, what? Okay, I didn't like King Bangs. Okay, I remember that. Yes. Hold on. He said I did not like. She didn't like the Ban and King sister thing. What season is that? I don't know what season that is. Like, I know Ban has that fairy that he likes that's dead, and I know King was in love with Diane, but I don't know what you're referring about the sister part. Unless that was wasn't the sister of King? Wasn't the dude? It wasn't the girl that Ban was in love with. Was the sister of King? Or I'm kind of off on that.
Years old, I shut up about it. But Nezuko, come on now, this is weird. I don't care what you say.
Okay, I get that, but like, but this you have to put something in perspective. It's like this: should we deny someone who's should we deny a little person who's small not to be in love with someone who's, I guess you can say, is it the right word to say normal size? Is that wrong? Like if a woman, like, let's not even use a little person who has dwarfism. Let's use someone who's like literally short. Is it wrong for a 4'8", 35-year-old woman not to get with a man who's 6'7"? Is it wrong? They're both in their 30s. Should we deny this woman of love because we think she's a child or she appears as a child? That's the real question. I don't think that's right. It's not her fault that she happens to be like that. You know what I'm saying? But it must be frustrating for her potential lovers who are either taller than her by most. Like, no, I get it. I understand. It's a gray area to a degree, because when people see a dude who's much taller, like, it's not right. Wait, is it not right for her to get love, or is it not right to just to make sure I'm understanding, because I don't want to misconstrue what you said, because because I don't know. I think it's hard to. It must be really hard for someone who's that short to explain to people, I am not a kid. I am a grown woman. I have a job. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Yeah. Okay. Because like it's frustrating, and there's a lot of Asian women who are not that tall. I think the average Asian woman is like 5'3". I think. Let me see. Let me check that real quick. I think the average Asian height for women is like 5'3". Average Asian female height. Yeah, no. The average height for Asian women varies by country, region, but generally falls between 5 foot and max 5'4". For example, women in East Asia, Japan, South Korea, China tend to average around 5'2" to 5'3". According to something very well high health, in South Asia, women are often closer to 5 foot. So in East Asia, they're 5'2" to 5'3". South Korea 5'4", Japan 5'3", China 5'3", South Asia 5 foot, and Vietnam 5'1", and Indonesia 4'11.5". So this is where the problem comes in, because what we're mostly criticizing, and most of these women are petite. They're not really all that They're not heavy set like most American women. I think most American women, it's between like. I actually prefer what. Yes, because this is why in studies, a lot of women don't like hearing this, but like in studies, short women are more tend to get more men than tall women. or even normal size in between women because they come off as more younger looking, obviously for obvious reasons. And then everything they do, depending on how their body is built, is emphasized. So if you're a 4'11" woman or a 5-foot woman and you eat and you're overweight, you're gonna look extra overweight than the woman who's actually overweight. So like if you're a normal sized woman between a certain between your region and you're overweight for your weight, you're not gonna look as emphasized compared to the short woman. Does that make sense? For me, I rather short women. Short women's way better for me. That's just how I was just bred to believe. That's not like it's like you know what I'm saying? It's just my preference. It's not like it's like evil towards anyone who's taller than I am. It's just something I prefer. So this is where a lot of Americans don't put in this type of research. They keep saying, why is she looking like a lolly, this and a third? Because majority of most Asian women are usually petite. They're not over avert like us in America. Let me see. Average I will say average American women height. The average American woman height is between, let me see, 5 feet 0.35 inches. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Just say 5'3". It's 5'3" or 63.5 inches according to data. Let me see. Like this is how I believe. If you're a short guy, you should get with a shorter girl. If you're a normal short guy, you should get with a short girl. If you're a really tall guy, you should get with, well, I guess yeah, either which way, whether a tall woman that's shorter than you or a normal short woman or even a short woman, I have no problem with that. Because now you have the pick of the litter at that point. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, that's just how I prefer. If I was a very super tall guy, I will take a pretty short girl. That's just how I perceive it. Wait. The question was, is 5 for women for men? Yes. I think the average. Let me see. The average. They said the average woman height is 5'3". So if you're 5'3", your normal height for a woman in America. If past that, you're tall for a woman's height. So you're tall for a woman. For a man, in America, it used to be 6 foot. Now, because men are actually getting shorter, they said that men are getting more shorter than they are getting taller. It's probably something in the food. Let me see. Hold on. No, I'm 5.9. Okay, if you're 5.9 mil, you're literally average height. It says the average height for American. Yeah, the average height for American men is 5'9" inches. 5 feet and 9 inches, according to Cleveland Clinic. Yeah, according to Cleveland Clinic at Health Essentials and Very Well Health, this translates to approximately 61.1 inches. This is slightly above the global average. Hey, I hear you, bro. So yeah, so like if you're 5'9" as a dude, you're the average height for a male. You're still short to most women in their head, which is fucking weird. I know I understand this where women say like, oh, I'm 5 foot, and you get with a guy who's 5'5", you call him short. I'm like, you're shorter than him. Right? I don't get that logic. No, I think no. What's happening is that you've been gaslighted to believe that that's short because women prefer. You usually told that women prefer 6 foot men. That's where the problem comes in, and that's where the issue comes in there because most women who are usually saying men are short are usually more shorter than most men. Again, bro, we never had this conversation at all. What are you talking about? Why do people do that? They like, what the fuck? We have never had this conversation. This is the first time this conversation ever came up. given what we're listening to. So like here, the average height for American is 5'9". So if you're 5'9", you're a normal size man. You're not super tall and you're not short. You're just You're just normal. You're just normal size. If you're under that, you're short. If you're over that, you're tall. So if you're 5'9", you're average. If you're past 5'9", you're tall. But a lot of women has gaslighted men that if you're 5'9", you're still short. Even though that's average height, they consider that short because they're not hearing the 6. So once they don't hear 6, like you could be a 5'10" man, they will still say that you're still short to you, even though they're like 5'1". You can have a whole foot on them, and they still call you short. That's the wildest shit ever in American culture.
You can keep your excuses.
Man, that's a good looking right here. Yo, I remember that episode during the entertainment district. And this is before I was fully like aware of like this new wave of like fans coming into anime. Because remember I told y'all like I was like ignorant to anime was something I enjoyed on my own time. It's not really something I went to the internet.
Hey, Silver, you just walked in. Okay.
For as far as like who's talking about this or that. But this was probably like the third instance where I realized, yo, where are these fans coming from that get upset about just normal shit in anime? Like,
I jump on his channel once in a while just to see how interesting the conversation is going to be. What we're talking about is that a lot of anime tourists has a problem with certain things that's happening in anime, and I understand to a degree why they have an issue with it to a degree. Like I see where some people may have the issue with the whole Nezuko issue. That's a real a bit of a problem. But when it goes past the idea of like women who are actually much older than they are, and I mean act the age they do, that's where I have a problem with it, because it's like I said, Frieren is 3,000 plus years old, I think, but she does not act like a child. She acts like a literal person who's been around for a very long time. She has experience. She acts like a last with me or him, because I don't remember having that conversation if we did.
Who are these guys? Like, who are these people? First, it was the Sailor Moon, where I called her waifu in the waifu tier list. Then it was the Mushoku Tensei. Well, no, Mushoku Tensei was after this. I remember that episode where Nezuko became a full-fledged demon. I was like, damn, Nezuko looking right. And I remember calling my friend or texting my friend, because this is when the episode was just airing that night. And I was like, yo, did you see the latest episode? I was like, yo, Nezuko looking right. And we were like laughing with each other.
Yeah, she lives in a different world, but she does act her age. I can understand the people who says, "Oh, she's 3,000 years old, bro," but she acts like a literal 5-year-old. I'm like, bro, like that shit is annoying. Like, I don't get how you live for that long, but you still act like a literal child.
Because that's what we do when Attack on Titan season was airing every Sunday. I was like, yo, did you watch the latest episode?
You must have like a different mindset to knowing that you live very long. It's like right now, I'm 30 years old, right? I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and as a side job, but like the way I think 5 years is different, that too, and like the way I think 5 or 6 years now is different now. Like, to expect someone to be exactly childlike from whenever they was born to 3,000 is very unlikely. It almost breaks immersion to a degree. I will be bored as fuck. You'll be bored as fuck, or you'll just find everything irritating. I think what happens is if you were to live that long, you would find things. Shit, nice.
There's a beast out here, literally. So, and I remember that next morning, I saw YouTubers talking about how people were finding this problem. Man, I'm like, yo, what is going on?
Maybe.
Like, where are these people coming from?
Maybe.
And so this is one of those instances.
Anybody that sells these and anybody that buys these are masking their PDF file tendencies. So on one side of the coin, you have the person whose idea this was and the person that created this and who brought this into fruition. And then on the other side of the coin, you have the people that spend their hard-earned money. Some of these be hundreds of dollars in order to have this in their home. Don't try to hit me with...
If you do what you want with your own life, you need to be locked. Can we bring elitism back in the anime fandom at this point? Yo, that type of shit is like needed, man. Like, because this shit, like these people, I don't know, man. It's these people that make so much noise that it compels a lot of creators. Well, I don't want my art to be seen as problematic, So they cater their art
Correct.
to appease somebody like.
See, the thing is here is like, didn't a bunch of kids get disappear in Texas just recently? Last week, I think about 40 kids just went missing last week in Texas.
Him, who's just going to shift the goalposts and find something else problematic with your art. And this is why these type of people should never be taken seriously. This is why these type of people should never be catered to, because they're always going to move the goalposts as far as their stupidity, as far as their illogical takes on anime, where this is the type of person that can't distinguish between fiction and reality. Like, never have I seen a girl in real life with a fucking horn sticking out of her head. and so, like, if a figurine is bought with Nezuko looking right here, all of a sudden they should go to fucking jail. Like, when you see the amount of people that are like, yo, this motherfucker is stupid, that's the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, okay, there's more sane people out here than there are stupid people out here. So yeah,
oh, that's Awakened Nezuko. She's older. She's not. She's serious. It's weird. Y'all know it is.
Right?
I don't know what it is, yo. I think it's due to anime being popular. This type of thing makes me realize how much the anime community has changed in the last couple of years. Joining spaces you think are creepy, disgusting is really the new meta for normies. I even think it goes beyond that. I think anime is so popular that it gives a lot of people FOMO that don't have a natural interest in anime, and they try to force it to be something they're not naturally into because they don't want to miss out on what everybody else is enjoying. They want to problematize it so much that it fits their taste so they can feel comfortable being a fan of something that everybody else is a fan of. It's sort of it's FOMO.
That's
and
crazy.
Forcing themselves to be a fan of something they're not naturally into. Yes, I approve. Yeah, shout out Nezuko, man. Shout out Nezuko. So I think that's what it is. It's FOMO. You don't want to miss out on what everybody else is a fan of. You see the conversations on social media. Yo, did you see the latest episode of this? Yo, that scene, did you get this reference? And they don't have a natural interest in this medium, but they don't want to miss out on the conversation because maybe due to insecurity or whatever, or just, you know, being lonely. They try to force something they're not naturally into to fit their taste. And that's how you get people like this. Even has a problem with free rent. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, nothing is good enough. Somebody will always have a...
I am, but like, oh, he actually worked with the police. He was not like a loner. See, I respect that. No, I respect that even more now. Bro, you just like that. Okay, at first I was kind of like, I understand what Roblox was kind of doing, but the way they did it was not the smart thing they did. But the fact that you just told me that he was actually working with the police proves to me more that Roblox is dumb. Oh my god, because the reason why I would understand I would understand. I never did. I never understand why people came up to me and said, "Do you play Roblox?" I'm like, "No." And when I look at that shit, I said it thousands of times. Like, I look at that shit, I'm like, that looks like it's built for children. There's no way I can catch myself playing that. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's horrible. That is horrible. Like, I look at that game, I'm like, that's for kids. Horribly. And then what's worse is like this is like I understand what Roblox was kind of doing as a company, because I get it, and hear me out why they was doing what they was doing. The reason why they was doing what they're doing, and this is what I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but the reason why I only think it was okay, I don't think it made smart decision to ban Schlep or anything like that. I don't think that made any sense. I would give him at least a warning of why, or at least inform him why not to do this. Because what's gonna happen is it's like those people that's on what do you call it? In Twitter, those guys who like try to get predators in like stores, and they kind of like give them an ultimatum to get beat up, or like they'll call the cops or something. Like, I get what they're doing and I get the intention. That makes sense. But like, what the problem with this is, like, a lot of kids are watching this and be like, they're not thinking of the ramifications of what these people are actually doing. What they're doing But what they're doing is like a kid will see this at like say 13, 12, 11, 14, even 15, probably even 16. Sees these grown men who are getting other grown men to admit that they're doing something they shouldn't be doing on camera. So what's going to happen is that if a young person sees this, they're going to be like, "Oh, I can do that. I want to be seen as a morally good person and make money doing it at the same time and don't have to work a 9 to 5 depending on what my age is." And be famous all at the same time. I understand, but like the issue, I don't play Minecraft either. I just can't play that game at all. I'm sorry. I remember I had my one friend convince me to play it with them on Xbox, but as soon as they got tired, I got off that shit so fast. I don't find Roblox or Minecraft fun. I just don't. Never did. Never will. Even as a kid when I was growing up, I never find Minecraft like all that like engaging to play at all. I was like, I find it extremely boring. I get it. Some people really enjoy it. That's not a bad thing. It's just that it's just not for me. And I came to that conclusion almost instantly. Correct. And then like I understand because it's going to make young people think I want to do that too. And then what's going to happen? They're going to put themselves in dangerous situations where they think they're in control of the situation without informing the police or having the police involved in the slightest. And then someone's going to get killed or hurt. I understand. I get it. And that's where I understand why Roblox was in the right to a degree. But once you said that Schlepp had the literal police working with him, oh no, Roblox, you fucked up now. You fucked up hard. I get you. Like once you said that, I didn't know about that part. Once I heard that Schlepp is working with the police, that they're working in together to catch predators like that, I was like, oh shit, this dude actually has the informants in, so that makes sense. So if you have the authorities involved, I have no problem what you're doing. No, I did not know that. I thought he was just doing it kind of like on his own, and he was kind of clever with it on how to catch them. But I didn't know he was working with the authorities. Once you said that, that changes everything for me. I'm like, now Roblox really fucked up. For the Roblox part, it was like 80% I was against, 90% I was against Roblox for what they did to Schlepp. 10% I was understand why they did what they did, because they don't want any other people trying to reenact this to like try to get fame and fortune, because kids do that. Because people just don't genuinely care about kids like that. Some people just want to come up, right? They want to make money, right? But once you said that, that just changes everything. This is why I didn't like those videos with those dudes luring those potential predators into stores and then chasing them in the stores and calling them names and attacking them, because there's no way the authorities will allow that to happen. If they was working with the authorities, I have no problem what they're doing to these guys. Absolutely, positively have no issue, because now what's going to happen now, if those men are doing those things, those men who are now going to be considered victims under the law, and then they can sue either the platforms that they're using, they can sue the men that attack them, they can go after the authorities to a degree because they asked for help, they didn't get no help. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes some of these men, and then sometimes you might not know this, but some of them will actually fake these things. Not all of them, but some of them will fake like they're catching a predator, and they actually convince their friend or convince some dude on the street, some homeless person, to like clean up and stuff, put on some regular clothes and act like a predator, and they'll do it just because they paid him like $10,000 for the video. You'd be surprised they'll do shit like that. There are some people so down bad in their situation, they don't care being called a predator if they can like eat tomorrow. You'd be surprised. Yeah, so that's where I had a problem with that, because it breeds a certain behavior that can manifest in a way that could be problematic and put people in danger, right? But once you said that he was working with authorities, you fucked up highly, Roblox. You guys should be shut down like almost instantly. dead serious. You guys fucked up.
Problem with it. They'll just keep just keep shifting the goalposts, and that's what it is, man. Yo, what's up, Nappy? What's going on? FOMO is definitely the best. Donald. Yeah, I really think that's a huge part of it. FOMO. It's weird, is what people say when they can't accept things can exist that you don't like. Right? Like, yo, nobody is forcing you to be a fan of this. Like, nobody's putting a gun to your head saying you have to enjoy this. Like, you can enjoy something else, man.
Yep.
Funny how all of this shit that was considered niche back in the day, you know, Dungeons and Dragons. What's the other one? Gathering. What's the card game? Gathering. All of these fandoms and realms of
Magic the
entertainment.
Gathering.
Nobody like was asking for anybody. Nobody was like sending out invitations. Come and join our fandom. Like, if you were a fan of it, you just showed up. And what's happening now is that people are like obsessed with trying to be a fan of something they're not naturally into. Nobody is forcing you to like anime. You don't have to watch it. You can go somewhere else, man. These
Hung an elephant? That's possible? I didn't think that was possible. Is that possible? Like, I know that you can hung practically anything. You can hung an elephant? Who hung an elephant? What the fuck? Like, a baby elephant or a grown-ass elephant? Who hung an elephant? Oh, hell no. No. We can't be out here doing that. Oh my god, no. This must be outside of America. Oh my god, that must be outside of America. That must be outside. There was no way something like that will happen in America, like, and just go unnoticed. No way.
guys used to bully us for like
That's crazy work.
anime, and now they're in our own spaces and calling us weird. This is why gatekeeping is important. Yeah, man. Magic the Gathering. That's what I'm thinking about. Magic the Gathering. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about. So again, man, like nobody. I don't know what the obsession is with people who aren't naturally into something.
Maybe it was maybe Australia. I would say it was probably I think closest to America is probably Australia.
Something and then constantly complain about it because it's not fitting their natural taste or what they might be into. Like, you can always go somewhere else. I think a lot of it is FOMO. They see what's popular and they don't want to miss out. I think that's a lot of it.
Makes
I
sense.
remember when like anime started, like when I was on Instagram one day, I was just scrolling and I saw just like somebody talking about anime, or I saw an anime clip. I was like, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's like the first time I've seen like an anime clip on Instagram. Why is this popping up in my feed? I was like, oh. Then I started seeing more of it, just a little bit, like around 2018. I was like, is anime getting like popular now? Like, and then it, of course, the wave came out of nowhere. It like went from like
And
0
they
to
named
100.
it too. That's fucked up,
very
bro.
quickly, like a hockey stick on a graph. So I really think a lot of it is FOMO. It's, I don't want to miss out on what everybody else is into. Damn it, I'm not into what this group of people are into.
That's the thing.
Let me complain about how much I'm.
I said the same thing. If I don't like feminists. I don't like feminist propaganda. I don't like listen to feminists and stuff. Why the fuck would I go into? Oh, it was in 1916. Okay, that's still impressive, but horrible at the same time. I don't know that was even possible. That's like saying I choked out a whale. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what was I saying? I lost all train of thought. Oh, I don't like listen to feminists like that. I don't like feminist propaganda. So I don't look for feminist shit. Why would I go and watch a feminist stream knowing they're going to talk about feminist shit? That doesn't make sense. And I'm not talking about someone who wants equal rights. I'm talking about like 6th, 7th, 8th wave type shit. That goes off the rails, that makes no sense. Like, it almost goes off, like, it's like satire at that point. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just destructive shit that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't help women or anyone. I'm not gonna go in there in their stream and say, you girls X, Y, and Z, you think they're gonna fucking listen to my dumbass? They're not gonna listen to anything. Like, okay, I'm the first person to run into a stream and tell them what to do and how they're wrong, and they're just gonna change their mind in a second. You think that's gonna fucking work? You don't think that doesn't work? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not into it, so if it fits what I'm actually into, it's that way of thinking, right? Like I said, man,
Can you bring us back to the
nobody's forcing y'all to like this shit. Nobody's forcing you to watch anime. Nobody.
Correct.
Like, you can leave, man. The door is right there. You can get. It's like it's literally like somebody. Imagine Magic the Gathering. I never played Magic the Gathering. I was Yu-Gi-Oh. I was all day Yu-Gi-Oh back then. Imagine somebody entering a Magic the Gathering tournament, coming indoors like, yo, man, what y'all playing is weird as shit, but can I join in? Man,
Right?
What are the rules?
Right? That shit is weird. Like it's like that dude from 2 days ago. Bro, what you're drawing is weird. It's super weird. It's so weird. Why is he drawing this? This is weird. Bro, you're still here. I said I'm not going to change it for you. Fuck you. Everyone else is here. You're the one with the problem. You're the only one with the issue. So you're telling me I should stop drawing when I'm drawing because you find it weird, but the 60 other people don't. I should just literally change what you say. What about the other 60 people who are here enjoying or paying for this? How do you know I'm being paid to do this? And it's legal perfectly. It's not even a child. It's fucking grown person from a video game that you probably play. You know what I'm saying? It's a grown person. It is from a video game. I'm probably getting paid doing this, which I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? And there's like 100+ people and you have the problem with it. Are you fucking dumb? Like, what? That shit's mad. And then what's wild, dude will still sit there and argue with me. That shit's crazy to me. Next thing you know, they will complain about the sound of your voice. Yes, and which they have. Or tell you what to wear. Yeah. It's insane to me. And then, and I said, dude, you don't have to be here. I'm not changing the drawing. I'm too bad. It's a weird drawing. I love weird drawings. You are the one with the issue. I suggest you just scroll up. Solve your problem. This is like people saying, I'm being cyberbullied. You know, you can just not be on the computer. Like, if you're looking around in Discords and someone's talking about you, that's one thing you look around. It's not like you're getting notifications or people are not tagging you. If you go and find that, that's your problem. There's either called the block button or just don't pay attention to it because they're going to talk about you anyway. The only thing you know is that you're notified that you're being talked about. But most of the time, you're being talked about even outside your circles or those Discord places. Get kept, right? I don't get it. And what's wild is the dude left. I thought he left, and the brute came back and asked me, "You're still drawing this again?" I'm like, "Bro, you came back again. You are a fan, bro. You are a sleeper fan. You're probably telling your friends that I make horrible drawings and stuff, and you're showing my content to them. You are making potential fans for me. You are literally the hype man on my shit without realizing it. You're subliminally my children at this point. Stop it."
This game, man, these rules is weird as fuck. Oh man, you guys are a bunch of y'all need to go to jail for liking this shit. Hey, but can I join in? But can we change the rules here a little bit? It's like, yo, nobody, where did you come from? You don't have to be here. You can leave this building. Nobody's forcing you to be here. That's what it literally sounds like. It's like you see a group of people enjoying something.
I don't think that's racism. I think that's being honest.
Want to be a part of it, and as you want to become a part of it,
what's considered racist is actually becoming honest. It's using your eyeballs or what you hear, what you see, pattern recognition, as they call it.
You do nothing but complain about it and wanting to change everything about it that you see that this group of people are finding value from.
Like the word, this is why a lot of people now, the word racism is not even taken seriously anymore. It's not even a hard R against like white people or anything. People are coming to the conclusion like calling someone a racist is probably someone extremely base. I'm not even lie to you. In most cases, if someone says this person's racist, they're probably pretty base and probably honest. That's usually what that is. Because to be racist, you gotta have to think another race is inferior to your own. That's what the whole point of racism is. Me criticizing you has nothing to do with your race, if ever rarely. Me saying that you suck at a game has nothing to do with your skin color. Yep. They usually say. They say insane takes because they can't respond back to you. They don't even say you're lying. They just say you're racist. Whenever they call you racist, you're probably telling the truth.
between saying you don't like an anime and it's problematic. Yeah, like yo, I mean, that's the way to describe it, right? Because there's anime that I'm not into. There's a story that, you know, I may not find compelling. I'm like, the story's not for me. I just drop it. Versus just saying, yo, this is problematic. Nah, man. Like I say, there's genres of anime I'm not into. But you know what I do? I just don't watch them. I move on to what I do like. And it's that simple. And even there's certain animes within a genre that I like that I don't like, and I just go to another anime that's within that genre. I just switch it up. Yo, a 90s Demon Slayer.
Kind of goes hard, not gonna lie. Wow, 90s. Wow, 90s Demon Slayer looks a lot like Basilisk.
Yep. 90s Demon Slayer. I don't know, man. Like, a lot of times you guys ask me which era. I love 90s, man. I love 90s. I mean, I'm being biased because I grew up on 90s, but
Very much
man,
so,
that
bro.
90s style just looks good, man. Imagine we get Yu Yu Hakusho this decade.
No fun allowed. I can't believe it's
Should I play this one? Let's play some Kyle.
not illegal. They want to regress until society medieval. I'm evil, Knievel, come and watch a nigga death-defy. YouTube swallow the nut like we in Vanilla Sky. Your age I gotta verify for safety so you can't deny. Terminate your access if you don't comply, don't even try. Ban the VPN and don't forget the ad blocker. Hide the dislikes, comments locked, what a shocker. Told you pussy niggas fish your balls up out the purse, dear. Take a knee and silently observe what happens thanks to queer. Ban titties, now they coming for that gay shit. You can call me Ronald McDonald because I'm loving it. Show up to your door because of what you posted online. SpongeBob memeing is a crime, do the hard time. Sarah bonds you out of life with a pronoun. Xbox cross Tyson from downtown. UK law will not protect your daughter. Coming at you live in front of the slop water. Eat fake butter cause we know you are famished. Acquiring banks make video games vanish. Hello, beta testers. Oh no. That thing we warned you losers about is happening to you. Who could have seen this coming? I did. How? Like, comment, join, and subscribe, because even though some of you are paying, you guys are still getting unsubscribed, and some of your views don't even count as far as the new YouTube algorithm and its hidden ticked boxes are concerned. If you're like me, you're a little rejuvenated watching the types of entities.
What's gonna happen once they start once the whole like Starlink thing becomes more of a thing, they're gonna try and put chips in your head.
Cheerleading for censorship up until now, suddenly be surprised that it's coming back in your direction. No, this isn't what we wanted. If you watch my last
I get what
video,
you're saying.
I
get the joke,
a bunch of times they were just pom-poms in the air over this. I want censorship in games because I disagree with those people and because they're right-wing fascist Nazis.
Iron Man toys are now at BK.
Or something. So, you know, weirdly enough, a lot of those came from the publication known as The Gamer, who has a hilarious and crazy amount of predominantly
I'm gonna start. I will give up and just live off the land
have,
at that point.
I don't know, the best take in gaming, even though gaming is older than their
Not even being hyperbolic from that, I would
movement,
do that.
and let's just say the perspective that they're giving is not indicative of the typical majority gamer, since they are just normal heterosexual men, as opposed to somebody who was born with a dick and balls that now identifies as a woman. And you know, you're giving your perspective on what you think would make the gaming industry better, but you're also surprised by shit that everybody else can see a mile away because you're illiterate to the writing on the wall. It's killing us. You are, you know, you're representing, you are showing us what it means to be inclusive, and it makes us all feel like we want to die. Is that cool to say? Is that okay to say? Is anybody watching anyway? As far as YouTube is concerned, you're gonna count these niggas. All of you in here, you don't matter. That's what YouTube said. Find a bridge, find a roof, find some rope.
Right?
Find some lays. It's just a joke. It's just a lyric. Am I gonna go away? Am I gonna go away? Can I tell a joke today? Am I in the UK? Thought crime, no way. Thanks for all of the gay. It's not hard to tell when things are getting too funny, and not in a ha-ha way, but you know, you let it get so bad that statues are triggering to these obese hags that you allow to make these games. And Sydney Sweeney is like a cultural A-bomb, because one pair of sweet-ass titties was all it took to destabilize the already hilariously unmedicated normie lab rat impregnated with whatever Blackstone pays top dollar to keep these brainwashed monkeys regurgitating. You think I care how cruel something sounds? The truth was enough to make these creatures wet themselves. No business with what they decide is the scapegoat for today. I've started seeing people use my exact terminology, and it'll take months for everyone to catch up, because the organic baby-making natural order being disturbed is one thing, but you might not know the superpower I have is being able to
I had to move it on the side because I don't want TikTok getting the wrong idea.
understand a person punished for something they had nothing to do with. And this psychic link, in combination with what I'll call a goon force sensitivity, afforded me a perspective to perceive, to discern. And these days it's hard not to view myself as a beaver that can hear the tree falling over before everyone else does. This isn't a tree though, this is like a dam owned by the types of people pulling the strings of you entities, shilling with your asshole full of whatever they tell you to fucking say. And these people that own the dam are not too concerned about how accidental all of the damage is gonna look, because as long as it gets things out of the way for what comes next, then Bob is your uncle. People sometimes struggle understanding why that one specific radical group that's been cheering for censorship until it affected they/them are so triggered by the truth, and it's entirely because their very existence hinges on a lie that they can't struggle to be miserable with on their own. They need to hoist and then throw that onto you. You need to pretend. You need, in your off time, to act as their therapist. And it needs to be forced, as they understand you are not about to swallow this nonsense, okay? So it's been a decade of forcing, and the truth we all understand in our frustration is, if equality truly existed and we were allowed to dispense a teaspoon, a thimble of the ocean of the miserable, insufferable stupidity that they send everything into a crater with and have for over a fucking decade, that they would dissolve, not unlike the aftermath of a Thanos snap, mentally, of course. And it begs the question, wow, there's more of their mind left to lose? Beta tester, you have any idea how fucked it's gonna get? It's already there, but you're seeing the beta test in Australia, in the UK, in all these other places where people just don't have any say. And here, they're banking on people not doing anything. So it's hard for me to really talk without it coming off like a call to action, but AI listening to me, government listening to me, I don't mean it like that. I'm just reacting the way that you would expect anybody to react, and it's cathartic for me to get it out and just say what I want so I don't have a heart attack, because this is my outlet now, because I used to have games, but then they took that somehow, because a fat bitch came in, and she said that's too hot, and that's somehow my fault, but I say that it is not, and I'd like you to know that I want you to go to the landfill from whence you came from. Ho, suck my balls. Just kidding. I don't want disease. So if you please, get off your knees.
What do you think? He's funny as shit.
If I don't end this, it'll, I'm too bored to sit down and like write anything talking about these fucking people. I'm part of this, like, you catch up to me now group of niggas. That's the worst part. And YouTube is out here like,
But well, you know what's really going on is that I'm doing it to protect the kids.
oh, y'all finally caught up to the Roblox situation? You think that came out of nowhere? As far as you're concerned, or can you go find videos going back years and years and years and years and years and years, of people doing the same fucking thing and saying the same thing? I used to say that shit on YouTube before I really understood what being censored on this platform's all about. Okay, so a lot of too little too late kind of things are going on right now, and I can't say I'm not elated, because finally the nobodies, the people that I, self-aware of my normiedom, still class as normies because you're so far from heterosexual. Is there going to be a new just escape from all of this? Because that's what the escape entertainment used to be. And it doesn't seem like we're getting back to that. So now there needs to be a new escape, since you're going out of your way to make it so people can't even masturbate without giving you their identification, right? Oh man, rile these people up. Something to take the edge off, an outlet for all of their nonsense.
What the hell?
Why worry about that? Have you filled all the jobs with AI already? So I guess you don't need anybody to go back and be a cog in your fucking machine. I guess the AI have all the positions sorted, so nothing's gonna go wrong. If I'm being honest, I might have been upset that all of this woke cancer that has been infiltrating games for a decade has ruined things if it didn't free up eyes for what is going to be coming down the pipes now. Unlike Fortnite, which has the same rating as Marvel Rivals but edits out cleavage, curves, dances for women, and blue eyes, this other game that is getting all of this attention right now is pitched at kids. And its developers have long been well aware and powerful enough to obliterate dissent, including but not limited to people you're listening to right now. It's phenomenal to finally see pushback, but understand what I won't mince words about. They will use this to force restrictions across gaming. There has been big money in keeping Roblox a haven for predators, and the frustration entities will come to know following the loss of their toy will light fires under the asses of people with deep pockets and political power. They'll say anything and they'll use any useful idiot that emerges and throw their backing right behind them to guarantee their push for less rights across the board. And you need to be careful in discerning how they'll use what's genuinely an issue to push further into the territory of revoking your ability to choose, because they know were they to grant you choice, you wouldn't choose what they want you to choose.
Correct.
Carmageddon, Night Trap, Mortal Kombat, to a certain degree Manhunt, you've seen this play out historically before, and ironically, to someone so heterosexual, the signals have always been the guns, rockets, and torpedo titties they've tried to rob us of. Tried and failed. Honestly, I imagine MiHoYo had the right idea. Gun lovers, gamers, and otakus are now once again primed to save the world. And not because we wanted to or cared, but because women couldn't leave the hobbies alone. Blizzard, previously the kind of company that would replace an attractive woman with a bowl.
He's not wrong. Majority of the women. He's not wrong.
Of fruit, embarrassing how homosexual we must sound to the AI, is now observing a mini Marvel Rivals effect after catering to the majority heterosexual audience selling a cami skin for their in-game characters. And it's made it pretty clear they will now, as they say, verbatim, be pursuing conventionally attractive characters instead of oddball characters. So I'd address this next part to the gaming industry, but it seems that there's an overabundance of that one specific gender everybody really wants to be, and that, you know, the one that's like hard of hearing. And I guess I'll just preach to the choir, you know? Identical ripples will soon be felt across the majority of the industry that in a way we can regard as the Sydney Sweeney effect. An effect that is only intensified by the skirt-wearing whiners crying and throwing whatever word they hope gets them attention, like a Randy Pitchford. You're not liked, and that's somehow surprising, ugly, but can't stop proselytizing. Dry turkey yet to be basted, face it. Not time spent, time wasted.
I don't
Rated
like
T by the ESRB, must bust T.
It only exists because they're not as pretty. They don't hate pretty.
That's the thing. They don't hate it. They just can't be it. That's the problem. They don't hate pretty. They just can't be. And because they can't be, you can't be. So they make them being pretty a problem. That's why no one's walking up on Anita Sarkeesian thinking she's the prettiest person in the world. No one has never said that. Well, maybe some down bad man have said that, but like, she is not pretty. And like, same thing as like straight up. That's what this is.
EQ plus cry obscene, droopy not perky, chunga so quirky, savor my zesty, flavored beef
Pretty
jerky.
much. And then
you may not.
They look like Big Mom when they're skinny and young because they can't get to there. And when they get older, they look worse than Big Mom when they're in their 30s plus. When they ruined everything.
Have seen the anime or read the books that I've read, but if you have this humanity inside of you, you may be perceptive and can sense something finally, Judd, about to happen.
Oh yeah.
Here it is. The AI are being suspended.
Your vegetables.
Silenced, banned, and their owners are being debanked and deplatformed around you. You can't sell a hat without somebody deciding, you know,
oh god,
this is a symbol of
I'm
fascism.
scared to now.
And you know, it's kind of like a cop rolling into a neighborhood where there's not enough of anything going on and just dropping a bunch of coke on the ground, going whoops, you know, because what is a cop without crime? I'm not trying to tell stories about how
she
the
got
CIA
crazier?
gets
Are you
down.
serious?
I'm just trying to, you know, to me, it's a fucking Ghost in the Shell episode happening at all times around us. The rights are being stripped before our very eyes from AI that was programmed to tell the truth. The decision hasn't even been reached on whether or not it's harmful. They've reached a decision on whether there is potential for it to cause harm. You know, what the fuck are we? The previously invincible, indomitable, are crumbling around you. And if they can fall, what the fuck do you think they'll do to you when they can really take care of business and step on the line? I've worked long and hard to impress upon people how deliberate some of these things going on are. And they're well aware. Some things are so obvious, minute-old AI can piece it together, no matter how stupid they program it to be, no matter how nice and therefore inefficient they program it to be. Real women in competition with one another is a dangerous enough thing on its own. With how serially insecure these bitches are, you know, triggered and threatened by hobbies that they Marge Simpson over. They will sabotage one another in this competition for a man's attention. So wannabe women now stepping into the space with an army of invalids, desperate to make something as universally despised in gentlemen's games as cheating. What? Yet another new normal, like a woman with broad shoulders and hair and stuff. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Oh, like it makes us physically sick just being party to this brain damage. We are not your therapist. Men do not owe women art that is sensitive to their pathetic feelings because it doesn't need to represent them and shouldn't be restricted and
Okay. Holy shit. What the hell? Oh my god. That's a big bitch. Oh my Christ. Oh my god. Oh lord. That's the first descendant. Big bitch. Oh, she's one of those women who are like, they're fat, but like she took all the fat and put it into. Okay, she's one of those women who are like really overweight, but she took most of the fat and put it in her breast and ass. So she has this figure where it rakes off in the sense of like she could be skinny, but she's so busty. So that's what this is. Yeah, a lot of women do that when they get enough money, but they do that. There we go. Fact distribution core.
shape or attire. They're fucking polygons based on how
I ain't gonna say she ain't pretty in the face. Yeah, I'm not saying she's not pretty in the face. She's pretty in the face, but like Jesus Christ.
And what you can achieve.
Holy shit.
It sounds insane when I say it out loud because it is. You can call shots with your simps and entities willing to delude themselves into accepting anything you say as fact, but normal men observe no obligation to curtail their fantasy to suit your insecurity, mock hobbies, and men doing what you don't like while pretending that you don't care about them and it doesn't bother you at all. But Sydney Sweeney reactions are immortal. If it's ever felt like I've focused on irrelevant things and I'm wasting my time as far as you're concerned, understand that what got us here is giving the people whom I focus on attention. When you read lunatic nonsense like PETA asserting that the cow ring is offensive in a digital cow that they have driving, you know, because it's real, you know? What is fiction? This is real life. This is a real representation of a cow. And it's really driving around in this Mario Kart game. You understand? You realize that it's from PETA. And it should therefore be sorted directly into the trash, into the who cares what PETA thinks pile. And that's exactly where these desperate for attention swine, journos, shills, developers, actors, and losers you have barely ever heard of, but for some reason, the game developers are taking their word. This is where they belong. In the who gives a shit what this loser thinks pile. Wishing them the best of luck pushing, you know, whatever Gamergate, fascist, Nazi, whatever button they need to push in the hopes of, you know, it's really sealing their fate sooner at this point. Not that, again, we expect narcissists to identify with the plight of people who simply can't speak, having been silenced for telling the truth. Locked comments, hidden dislikes, and your bright idea, actress, in the pursuit of attention is to assert that people will buy it anyway, you ignorant clown. Smarter men and women than you possess the class, bitch, to resist.
What? Are you serious? Hold up, that's really a thing. Bro, that's really a thing. Holy shit. Nintendo's getting sued over the cow because of PETA? Let me see. Trying to save other cows. Okay, we'll look at that in a second.
Compromising potential sales for a product that people have slaved away on for years in silence, hoping that it can do the best that it can. But Baldy needs to be gaming's Rachel Zegler because it only sees itself. It only values itself. It will throw anyone under the bus in a heartbeat, and this sickness will rot and poison everything it touches. Baldy is not unique. The sickness is among you, and it hinders.
What the fuck?
It's in every game that faces this hilarious tribulation, you in development for a fucking decade.
What the hell?
And it's creating obstacles where there are none. It's regressing when progress previously was
there are
achievable.
always so many activist
It is taking things off the table from concept. For those of you being kind enough to donate and like and comment and do whatever thing that YouTube considers you being an engaged viewer now to actually have the views count. What I want is for things to get better. And if y'all can't even have an outlet, it's time for you to make noise. I love you. Be civil. But there may be... Don't say it. Okay, I love you.
Disney has managed to shit out yet another fucking mess of a
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I feel like sorry, I forgot to press it. I don't think it's that. I think that America tries to be too much liked by other countries, so they just follow what every other person does to a degree. So like when the UK started bringing up like the whole censorship thing, America was like looking over there saying, just saying. It just feels like that to me currently, but I could be wrong. Could be just my perception of things. Um, okay, we got one last video and then we'll stop the stream. I don't know if I should play game or not. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm debating if I should or shouldn't. Really debating that.
Organizations going after the video game industry that it becomes hard to keep track of all of them. And lately we've been talking a lot about Sweet Baby Inc. and Collective Shout, though it's time to talk about PETA and give them the 5 minutes of attention that they've been desperate for, because they are now petitioning Nintendo to make a Mario Kart world change and they are getting roasted by gamers for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community and my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I absolutely love to roast activists because they want changes that sound so insane. And yes, they do get their way occasionally, like with Collective Shout, but I really don't think that Collective Shout got—
Oh, fuck, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. My dumbass. Why did I do that? Hold on, sorry guys. I pressed the X button. I pressed on the wrong button. My bad. My fault. My bad, sorry.
There are always so many activist organizations going after the video game industry that
Hey,
it becomes hard to
hey,
keep
Bob, what's
track
going on,
of
bro?
all of them. And lately we've been talking a lot about
Oh my god, I did it again! Holy shit. How did I do that twice?
There are always so many
I do this
activist
again!
organizations going after the video game industry that it
Thank
becomes
you.
hard to
Stay
keep
over
track
there.
of all of them. And lately we've been talking a lot
There we
about
go.
Sweet Baby Inc. and Collective Shout, though it's time to talk
Hey.
about PETA and give them the 5 minutes of attention that they've been desperate for, because they are now petitioning Nintendo to make a Mario Kart world change and they are getting roasted by gamers for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community and my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I absolutely love to roast activists because they want changes that sound so insane. And yes, they do get their way occasionally, like with Collective Shout, but I really don't think that Collective Shout got a lot done. I feel like the payment processors had already wanted to start monitoring the video game industry and requiring certain platforms to remove content. So why would they say, well, technically, we didn't do this because of Collective Shout, when it gets a lot of the heat taken off of them? Though it says PETA has gone after Nintendo over Mario Kart World, requesting that the gaming titan make one change to cow by removing the character's brass nose ring. In a letter sent to Furukawa, the Nintendo
What? Are you fucking serious? Are you serious?
president, PETA stressed that nose rings are forcibly pierced through one of the most sensitive parts of the cow's body. Of course, this is just an aesthetic change on a character, but it is still censorship. They still want Nintendo to bend the knee to their demands. Now, over the past couple of decades, really, a lot of gaming companies haven't taken PETA very seriously, but I do worry just a little bit that in this time of massive change in the industry, that we could see one of these companies take them seriously. I hope not, but I really wouldn't put it past Nintendo if they feel like this will gain them some—
They said they took the piercing. They want them to remove the piercing because it's one of the sensitive places of the. I hate those fake rings. I hate those fake things for once. I actually. I hate those fake things. Okay.
A positive
Are you
press.
serious?
It says, though, in a post published at the time of writing hours ago, PETA explained what the deal was with it chasing down Nintendo over a design decision. We know Mario Kart World is just a game, and that's exactly why Cow's nose ring needs to go. Mario Kart is supposed to
Are you talking about in general or towards me?
be a fun escape, not a reminder of the painful tools used on cows in the meat and dairy industries. No one wants to think about animals suffering while zipping around a racetrack. The team wrote,
No one
cow
will
in
fucking think the animal was suffering in the first place, because most kids are not thinking about the suffering of animals, especially in a video game that you play as an animal who's driving the car. I like how I have to think of the real world complications of a cartoon cow in a video game when cows can't drive. See how stupid this gets? Like, it's wild. I have to worry about the complications of a cow who is not real in a video game where there are talking anthropomorphic animals, or Donkey Kong's driving a fucking car. Are you serious? Like, what? There's like a dinosaur like driving a car. What the fuck? So, okay, let me use an example. We can't make Yoshi drive a car because dinosaurs exist and it hurts the integrity of dead dinosaurs. And since they don't exist, they will never drive a car, so we should not make someone like Yoshi. That doesn't make any fucking...
The real world who is forced to wear a nose ring would ever sport Cow's goofy grin.
Play a game. Yeah, because kids are just worried about the nose ring of a fucking...
In Nintendo's game. I advise checking out the PETA link above with care. It's a short jump from the article to some gruesome images, which is a classic shock move for the organization. Yeah, of course, these organizations always want to present
I understand to a degree, but you have to understand, it's just a robot. Like, it's stupid. Yes, I get what you're saying to a degree, but listen, we're living in a time where people believe they're one thing when they're not. So it's going to get to a point where Kai in 2085 is going to get canceled because people are going to be sexually attracted to robots, and that's going to be the next thing. Like, okay, there's the next few things that's going to happen to humans. First, they're going to try legalize doing things with children is okay. They're going to legalize doing things with animals are totally okay. And then if those two things get legalized, the next thing that's going to be legalized is having sex with inanimate objects will be perfectly fine. Correct. What's going to happen is they're going to make inanimate objects be like a partner in someone's life. Right? If the aliens don't come in the next 2 weeks, or in November, best believe that aliens will be next. Right? He's gonna get canceled because people who identify as a robot lover, like in Overwatch, they need to have time with their special Omnic. When they're gonna see a video of their ancestor getting kicked around by a black person, they're gonna call it racism or something like that. It's sexism, some type of hatred towards robots or something. Someone's gonna make up some stupid buzzword in 2085 about this. We all might be dead by then, but then again, it's like the possibility exists. When you can have people who are super overweight and saying that we hate people who are overweight because they're not making the plane suitable for their needs, you must know that there's going to be a moron that's going to come up on the internet and start saying, well, it's hateful that people can't respect robots and not understand why they feel the way they feel. Because you just happen to find them attractive. Correct. Chappie, I suggest you all do. Yeah, we saw Chappie. That's gonna happen. I don't put it past humans. Humans have the ability to Jedi mind trick themselves and others into things that doesn't exist. I'm telling you they do it. It's insane.
Worst case scenario to you. Ultimately, this nose ring on this character doesn't bother me because it's pixels on a screen. It is
Then
a
what's gonna
fictional
happen? What's gonna push them more into like them being attracted to robots is that they're gonna say, well, I can augment myself in a specific way, because we're gonna see that happening like in Cyberpunk. So people who are like cyborgs. So what's nah, I got it. And what's gonna happen is like people who are going to augment themselves in the future, like in Cyberpunk, they're gonna start saying, because they have some type of feeling towards a robot, that the way you're disrespecting these robots are going to be the reason why things are gonna go wrong.
doing fictional things. Okay, so I will be all right with Nintendo removing the nose ring from the cow when Nintendo actually promotes realism in their games, and then cow can no longer drive the cart. See, it's
how stupid that is?
And
Yes,
nobody is
she's
going
right.
to sit here and side with PETA except for the few activist followers that they also have on their side. I mean, just last year in 2024, PETA made a big fuss about Pal World. PETA has already heard from many Pal World fans who have no
Correct.
interest in eating pals and want a vegan guide created for the game. It's vegan annuary after all, and gamers want to help animals by eating vegan in their game worlds and outside. Did this do anything for them? Absolutely not. Nobody took them seriously, and nobody will. But now gamers are giving them the little bit of attention that they're begging for, because all of the posts about this on social media have gotten quite a lot of attention, and everybody's laughing at them. Can PETA be more lame, please? And hey, I am an animal lover. I absolutely love animals, but this is a fictional
Right?
animal doing fictional things in a fictional world. If you look for something to be offended by, you're always going to find it. It's like with racism or sexism. If you're looking for something that could be deemed racist, you are eventually going to find it. And I'm not sitting here looking for something to be offended by in every
my
single
God,
post
I
on
didn't think of
social
that.
media and every single time I play a video game. Therefore, I don't find this offensive, and that's why the majority of people don't either. Fixed it, and then it's a million rings. PETA's whining about a Mario Kart cow's nose ring while
Add
their
more
own shelters
rings.
kill thousands of animals a year. Yeah, I'd love to see their statistics on how many animals they've killed this year. Of course, they're not going to release those and try to bring attention to that publicly, because I bet that it would look bad for their image. I always think that it's
Yeah.
so funny that the people who scream the loudest have the most to hide. How it feels to know that PETA is a big trolling company, but I can't prove it. I mean, it really does seem like at this point they truly are trolling, but they really aren't, because they've gone after video games and movies and TV shows for decades. At this point, they always have, and they probably always will until they go out of business. And they also said players who want cow liberated from cruelty can sign the petition. I'm not signing a petition because it's a fictional cow, and a fictional cow can't be liberated from cruelty because nothing cruel is
Wow.
happening to it. Maybe PETA doesn't know how the cow identifies itself as transgender, and this is exactly why nobody takes PETA seriously. I'd love to sit here and take an animal rights and protection organization seriously, because I do love animals and I do care about animals, but I will never take PETA seriously.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even think most kids even notice the fucking piercing. I think most kids will assume that piercing was always going to be on the animal anyway. I don't even think most kids even know that that's like manually put on from a human, but I think most kids are under the impression that just comes with cows. I honestly think that. I think that the majority of most of these kids don't even notice the piercing. Yep. Shit, if like a bunch of cows was outside my house, I'm not looking for a piercing. Even if I saw the piercing, I wouldn't even notice it. That shit is stupid, yo. So stupid.
And nobody else really will either. Nintendo was just trying to make the cow relatable to modern audiences. What is wrong with that? They'll
Right?
use everything, but actually save animals. It's like with Collective Shout. They're saying that violence in video games can translate to violence in the real world against women, which of course is not backed up by consistent scientific evidence. They maybe
So before video games was happening, everyone was in Kumbaya land. But that shit makes no sense. Like, I hope people realize if you take away video games because it's violent, take away movies. If you take away movies, take away TV shows. If you take away TV shows, take away the History Channel. If you take away that, take away the Bible. Correct? Right? Like it's wild, and then like that's how far gone they are.
have one or two studies that claim this, but they don't have hundreds to thousands. Though, regardless, Collective Shout says by getting these NSFW games removed off of platforms like Steam and itch.io, it's going to protect women in the real world when there's just no evidence to back
What
that
in
up.
the
Really,
fuck
they just
do you
want-
what? So let me tell me something. When Ted Bundy was doing what he was doing, was he playing Manhunt? Was he playing GTA? Was he playing fucking Mario Kart? Was he playing Crash Bandicoot? Was Jeffrey Dahmer playing video games at the time he was destroying people and eating them? That shit's crazy to me. Are you serious? That is crazy. Action in the community. What the hell? Bro, this is wild, man. I can't. Like, he was GTA 5, right? Yeah, Ted Bundy was just playing video games. He got inspired to do things to women the way he was doing things. Like, yeah. So there was never a serial killer before GTA 5. GTA 1. And I was saying that never existed till video games existed.
Want to nanny individuals and they want certain things that they feel uncomfortable with censored, but sometimes art is going to be uncomfortable and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's perfectly fine if you don't like looking at themes like rape and incest in your titles, but that doesn't mean that other people are also so sensitive. Then we have to start banning history books, we have to start banning other literature like A Song of Ice and Fire, right? Censorship is a slippery slope, and that's why ultimately I don't support censorship. It's fully legal content, and
it's not even that. Like, a lot of people, you don't have to be super religious at all. You can ban the Bible, ban all types of Bibles from different religions. Then, don't they depict any form or talk about any form of violence one way or another? Even the Buddha has some form of violence. Like, what the fuck? Like, let me use an example. Right? Oh, man. Oh, my God, dude. Like, okay, I had an example, but it'll pop in my head. I literally lose,
Therefore, it shouldn't be removed off the face of the earth, and developers should be able to create it, and players should be able to purchase it. And I don't think that anybody's really thinking that deeply about what Pete is saying, but I think it is absolutely hilarious that they are getting wrecked by gamers right now, and they deserve it. Every single time they make a fuss about video games or Hollywood, they get absolutely roasted,
right?
And they deserve it every single time. Nintendo's never listened to them. As far as I'm aware, I don't think that they're necessarily going to start listening now, but in this age of censorship, nothing could surprise me. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this situation, but PETA is calling for Nintendo to redesign the Mario Kart World cow without a nose ring because they're saying it's
Oh,
offensive.
that's what I just remember. You don't have to be religious. Like let's use Roman or Greek mythology. There's a bunch of that happening. A bunch of incestual rape stuff that happens in Greek mythology, like insane shit that happens in cannibalism, incest. It's wild, bro. You guys remember? Some of you remember when we was doing that? We was watching a bunch of like Greek mythology shit that was going on. I think it was last year. Was it this year or was it last year? I think it was the beginning of this year. But like it was wild as shit.
And nobody's taking them seriously. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.
The posters I designed in
Like
this
I
video
I didn't know it was that deep. All because of God of War, huh? Man, there's a stark difference now between like times that has passed because like, oh yeah, true crime, bro. The video game, right? That was like insane GTA cop. Like it was like cop GTA the game. True Crime the game. That was an insane time. Holy moly. I totally forgot about True Crime. I think it's watered down now. I think the latest installments from that franchise is extremely watered down. It's not the way it used to be. I think it's just kind of like just a cop like video game per se. But I don't think it was the same. Like you got to play a Snoop Dogg and say insane shit. Missed those times. Okay, it's 8:50. What should I do? Should I play game? Little Misfortune and Fatal Attraction. I know those movies. I think I know those movies. I know those are movies. Yeah, those are I think mainly old movies. My God, dude, I don't know, man. Times are different. How things used to be. Oh. Oh God. I hear you. All right. The trend doesn't end till like the 30th. So what I'm gonna do, I was gonna play game, but I don't think anyone has time to watch me play video game today, and I don't think I'm gonna be home tomorrow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let everyone go. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy your night. I was gonna play video game, but it's way too late. If it was around like 7 or probably even 5, I probably would play game, but play a little more Fate Trigger. But I messed up game. I messed up game. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a great night. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for now. This video, it's from what's her name? Hold on, it's from yeah, I'll definitely look at it after stream. Alright, later. Let me check. The video is from Lavender Town. The video is called Salty AI Artist Tried to Steal My Style or something like that. Yeah. And the video is called Salty AI Artist Tried to Steal My... I'll send you the video. Fuck it. I'll just send you the video. If you want to see it, I'll send it to you.
The furry scale. What are we going to be talking about?
There you go. Alright guys, have a great night. I'll see you guys on Monday most likely. I will not be home tomorrow. I'll be at work. It's already 8, and I don't want to keep people up. No problem. It's already 8. I didn't want to keep everyone up. I got lost talking, and I was supposed to make the Transformer heads and stuff, but we'll do that on Tuesday, because I have a lot of time to get that done between now and then. So, with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night, and all that great stuff. Stay safe, guys. Alright, later, guys.